Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to a special council episode where we're not really doing anything else besides talking about a film that just came out where a man flies. And there's a kaiju.
And there's an angry bald man too.
And there's a dog that goes bark bark. We're talking Man Super. Spoilers, obviously. So if you're here, you've seen the movie. Okay, we're spoiling. Okay, Supergirl's in the end. Boom. There you go. Boom.
Ultraman is David Cornswet.
That's not true. It is true. Okay, it is true. Chainsaw reacts. Phil is here. Welcome, sir.
Welcoming back. Yeah.
Yes.
At the start this time, unlike Wednesday.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. And Tadia is here. Welcome, sir.
What's up, everyone?
Hey. So we do have some people showing up. Not sure when. We know Darren's showing up in a bit, and then I believe Jake's showing up later, and I don't know who else, but we'll see. Who knows? We'll see what happens. We're just gonna kind of wing it. So I've only seen it once. I believe Phil, you've only seen it once, correct?
Yep, that's correct.
And Tadia, you just saw it today.
I've just seen it once.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. I know there's some people that have already seen it multiple times. And I do plan on seeing it. I just don't know when again. Who knows? It may be until after it comes out digital. I'm not sure because I'm looking forward to Fantastic Four, honestly, next. But yeah. I think we start off, I guess, just kind of our general thoughts, and then we'll just kind of dive into some specifics and just kind of go from there in terms of what we liked and what we didn't like. Starting off, I think just for myself real briefly, I overall enjoyed the film. The more I thought about it, it's like, yeah, I liked it. There's certain things that I have questions on in terms of Lex Luthor, because honestly, like, I think everyone did a pretty good job in terms of their actual role. But the more I keep thinking about it, it's like, I like Nicholas Hoult as an actor. I need to see more of his Lex, because I think overall, like, he performed this version as well as he could. I just have some questions about some of the decisions they made writing wise for his character. Like, why would they do that when he can do this? Like the whole black hole thing. He's able to figure out how to do a pocket dimension and create that and have that as like a prison. But then why does he want to rule half a country or something? Like, it just, there's some weird shit that just doesn't make sense to me.
For sure.
Logically.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed David Cornswet and Richard Brosnahan. Like, they're fantastic, in my opinion, as they're individually and then together. I think the chemistry is great. Yeah, I'm excited to see where this universe goes. Like, I really think this was a decent start for it. I don't love the film like a lot of people do. I had a good time with it, but I don't love it. Like, oh, I need to go see it like right now. Like, people rushing on the theaters. Like, yeah, I'll see it eventually, but I don't have that itch to, like, I have to go right now. Like, I have to go right now and do it. Phil, I know you've given your thoughts on this, but what are your generalized thoughts?
Why don't you let Tadia go before me?
Okay, Tadia, since you just got out today. Yeah.
Firstly, I want to say thank you to Phil for giving me the way. So,
sure.
Thank you.
Of course. Yeah,
of course.
So honestly, I love the film, and me and my elder brother were laughing because they had some funny moments that it was funny. To be honest, it landed the funniness, and it made me feel. For example, Guy Gardner being Guy Gardner, it was like, yeah, definitely he would do that. And Mr. Terrific, I personally think Mr. Terrific, out of all the Justice Gang, he was the standout for me personally. And and I think if you look at the comics, like Alex Ross's work to this, it just screams Alex Ross. That's what I see. And David Cornswet and Rachel Brosnahan's chemistry worked, like you said, worked really, really well. And it was like, yes, I personally think that I can't wait to see more. And as you mentioned at the start, yes, Supergirl's in the film, and I was a little bit disappointed, just a little bit disappointed with how they didn't show the cape, but they showed she had a jacket on, and I was just thinking, why haven't, like, normally you'll be able to see the cape, right? But you didn't get to see that. And I was also like, I think her portrayal of being, I don't know if I can swear, but
yeah, sure.
being a dick to Clark. It was just like, I was just like, oh, okay, that's that's a little bit, but little much, but it is what it is, and probably from the comics, so I gotta respect that. I also gotta say the Superman robots were really cool, like them helping Clark in the recovery mode and stuff. So I kind of like that. Crypto stole my heart, though. I gotta say that Crypto stole my heart. It was like, at first you're just like, why Crypto? Why? And then slowly, I fell in love with him. It was just like, it made me want to think of get a dog.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it made me think that I should get a dog, a puppy, and call it Crypto or something. So
As you should.
yeah, and it was heartwarming. And Ma and Pa Kent were, I felt, really warmed by it, because it reminded me of my own family, my own mother, my own father, and how they look after me. So it's like I kind of felt right at home with that, and heartwarmed. And James Gunn did a really good job there. I don't know who the actor and actresses are, but they did a really good job. I think this is the first time that we've seen Ma and Pa Kent in a movie, in a big screen, alive, while Clark is being Superman.
Like in live action?
In live
Yes,
live
live
action.
action. That is the case. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
because like animation, that opens the door for other stuff. Okay.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. I also got to say, I just wish there was more screen time for the Daily Planet reporters, like Jimmy Olsen, Perry White, Ron, Cat Grant.
Ron Troop.
Ron Troop. Yeah, I wish there was more screen time for them. I think if they added maybe extra 30 minutes, it would have been, just to add a little bit more context for these characters, it would be nice. But it was too short and too quick, in my opinion. It was. But I still loved it. My brother had a fun time. My elder brother was like, I hope it's not like Superman 2. Because he's an 80s kid. So he was like, oh, I hope it's not like, the dressed out, like, the black cloth. And I'm just like, don't worry about it, man. We're in 2025. It's not going to be that. So I kind of had to calm him down. But yeah, overall, I really liked it. And I would say it's a family film. I would try and go back again if I can get free time. So if I could go back again, I would definitely go. Oh, I forgot to mention Metamorpho. He was really cool in a few of the scenes. So I really, really want to see more if they do a TV show with Metamorpho. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, anything's possible. Anything's possible for sure. I don't know what he's doing. What's up, Mike?
What's going on?
What's up, man?
Mike?
Just waving that.
It's a little hot in here. I gotta take a little sip, you know what I mean?
It's super hot. It's super hot, baby.
Is it super hot? Is it?
Yeah, super hot. Super hot.
There you go. Oh shit, we got people. People coming in. What's up, Darren? What's up, man? What's up? We were just going around how we all personally felt, like, just kind of our quick thoughts. So we could dive into more stuff. Phil, you want to go next?
Yeah, Phil.
It's okay. Be honest.
Oh, I know.
Don't worry. I'm not gonna get hurt. My feelings don't hurt me.
I don't think any of you are going to be hurt by anything I say. You guys aren't RJ. Jesus Christ.
Where did you get that from?
Regal.
Wow.
I didn't like the movie. Matter of fact, I strongly dislike this movie. There were a few things that I kind of liked, things that I did like. I think Eddie Gathegi as Mr. Terrific was pretty spot on. I thought, Rachel Brosnahan, from the go, I always thought she was going to be great as Lois Lane. I think Metamorpho was too.
Sorry.
Bless you. No, you're fine.
Darren.
But everything else encompassing this movie, I wasn't superbly hot on. Like I think everyone does what they're asked of with the material that they're handed. And I think the biggest problem is the material that they're handed and the person directing the movie, in case it wasn't that obvious. But like, I thought Corenswet was fine, even though he kind of talks a little too much and he's a little too emotional and he's a little too, hey ho. Like I just don't really like a Superman movie like that. I thought Nicholas Hoult was incredibly one-dimensional, was very unintimidating, very annoying, very lackluster, and I found that very disappointing. I thought he was honestly like one of the worst parts of the entire movie. I think, honestly, I think that, a lot of the plot itself is derivative of Superman 78, Superman Quest for Peace, and mixed with some Super Friends. I think tonally, this movie really mirrors Batman and Robin. A lot of people are saying like, it's like a cartoon, it's like an animated series, and I'm like, okay, well, Joel Schumacher said on the set of Batman and Robin, don't forget, we're making a cartoon. So just keep that in mind when you say this reminds you of a cartoon. Overall, like, I think James Gunn can't write his way out of a paper bag. I think he should stick to animation. I think he should stick to Misfits. He has no business writing the big characters. This film was just an absolute miss for me in almost every sense of the word. And I went into it like, how am I going to feel? Because I'm 50-50 on the guy creatively. And this really just put the needle on the other side. I'm just not a fan at all. I thought, the Justice Gang was fine. Like I fucking hated when Hawk Girl screamed. That was stupid. The Monkeys was fucking stupid. Like there was just a lot of dumb shit in this movie that I went, yep, that's James Gunn doing James Gunn. He couldn't fucking hold himself back, but it was just really dumb. It was just really fucking stupid. And a lot of people just laughed at all the shit that I didn't laugh at. The one thing I did laugh at was when it was revealed that his parents sent him there to conquer Earth instead of help it. And the immediate first thought I had was, people are either going to give him the fucking biggest pass in the world over this, or it's going to pay off somehow. And sure enough, it fucking pays off in the end. And people are like, well, see, it paid off in the end. That still didn't stop him from doing it. That still didn't stop him from even making, this whole, remember in 78 when Lex Luthor was all about a real estate scheme to get California? Well, guess what? We're going to one-up it in this one and make it all about Luthoria and being in cahoots with Barovia to get a fucking landmass of Jonapar. Oh, but guess what, guys? There's a fucking twist. He did it all just to piss off Superman. I did not like this movie. I thought it was a fucking waste of 2 hours. And frankly, I am just anything James Gunn writes in live action, I have no desire to watch. Peacemaker, sure, I'll watch it for Rick Flag, but I have absolutely no desire to like give it any critical thought because I already know it's just going to be a fucking joke, because that's what James Gunn is. He is a fucking joke and he turns everything into a joke, and I can't stand it.
Okay. Darren, what are your thoughts, sir?
How about Mike goes first? I don't know if I want to follow Phil.
I went after them. I went after
I'll follow my buddy Phil here and stuff here because as you can see,
you hated it.
Not a
obviously.
fan. Not a fan.
I thought this was despicable. In the words of Warner Brothers, despicable. And a big piece of trash. Yeah. No. I absolutely love this film. However, now in context, I've seen this film now 3 times. My third viewing was today at 105 at an IMAX screening AMC, and that theater was sold out. And the reason I went 4 times, the second time I went to my wife on Thursday, and then the first time was the press screening on Monday. No. It's called subscription service. Get on board. But no, I just like I'm on got the merch and all that stuff and everything. But shout out to our sponsors of the channel. But one thing I had a very strong conversation with somebody on this panel in the DMs. I'm glad that I didn't think he was gonna be here today, but I'm glad he's here because I feel that there is a lot of valid points of criticism, people not liking this film. However, for me, the perfect way I can put this in terms of what this film represents to me is a palate cleanser. for a lot of the DC fans, and for that being a palate cleanser is going to, if you know what that means, it means clearing out, your stomach for the rest of the meal to come, and meaning that whatever you had before, that's going to go away, right? And that's not going to go well for some people. Now, I'm not even going to address terms of the previous regime or the Snyder or anything like that, with my thoughts, because now we're talking about present. Today, this
We've been
film
there.
is here. Let's focus on what we have from beginning to end. And I think there's valid points that are made of people not liking it. However, some of the points that they're making, why they did not like it, for me, absolutely worked. I felt like, not saying I felt like a kid again. I think the love I had, which started when I was a kid, watching Justice League Unlimited and the Batman animated series and Static Shock with my father over 20 years ago. I had that feeling watching this movie, and I watched it 3 times, because usually in certain films that that are rewatchable, okay, usually you kind of get over it in the second viewing. I don't need to go for a third, but then I go for a third viewing for this, and I still had a smile on my face in the movie. And I know it's the first week, whatever, but my main thing, I wanted to get other people's reactions engaged, because also as a critic, it's like not just my own opinion. I wanted to guess, like, hey, how many people are going to react to this? And I even said in the chat, I had people of all walks of life, white, black, green, or yellow, conservative, like person today sitting next to me were 2 conservative people, because one of them had a hat on, and they were liking this movie. And I just sit back, what you like? Well, I mean, yeah, we have a dog. We suckers for that. And they, even then, after everything that was going on with this film, they still said they enjoyed that. This to me is what the physical embodiment of the DC universe is supposed to be. And I'm not talking about just in terms of tone. I'm talking about the universe they established, the world building, but more importantly, the spirit and personality that I feel that we've been longing for over the last 10, 15 years, only because, going in from the animated, there's a large part of fans that are from that got their love through DC animation, and now at this point, these people are now either 25 older and have families themselves, and so they're the targeted audience now, where they're like, where basically where money is, where I'm gonna go take myself, not because it's reminding me of the feelings I had as a child. I also have children of my own. I want them to experience a DC universe similar to what I did. So here we are. So I feel that going down the cartoon angle and feeling that feeling, for me, I felt was a success. There's a lot of things in this film, again, that it was nitpicking, like, all right, I wouldn't have gone that direction, but all this movie needed to be was just good. But for me, I thought it was great. But I'm saying for a general audience, like, do you just like it? Yeah, I like it. I might have some issues. That is perfectly fine, because there's a lot riding on this film, going on from critics, from audience, to box office, which we now have the numbers coming in right now. This is absolutely a win. However, we need to take this discussion today. I hope we have very good constructive criticism and good discussion, because there are some things here that I definitely see that if they don't address, it doesn't get checked early on, will definitely have huge consequences moving forward. So, but yeah, I love the film.
Okay.
Darren. I feel like I don't even know how I feel about the movie yet, because it's like, it is such a big movie and so much is happening and so much is thrown at you. And I felt like my brain was a little overwhelmed the first time I saw it, in a good way, because I had a smile on my face the whole time. I really loved it. But like instantly I'm like, I need to see this again, because there's so many things I'm like, I don't know if I love this thing or I hate this thing. And like, that was kind of like a weird feeling to me that I haven't felt in like a very long time watching a movie. So I'm already planning on going again Monday. But I think the thing that I took away from it the most was like, this is a movie I never thought we'd see in the style that it was, at least to me, where it's like, so many times it feels like we have to like set up a world, we have to build up a world, or it's like, okay, it's time to wrap this world up, or it's time to, our big finale moment. And this movie just gets to like live in this comic book world in a way that I don't think I've personally ever seen, at least in the tone that I have dreamed of. It, like you said, Mike, it gave off a lot of that like DC AMU, you're like Earth's mightiest heroes, even the like tone that I loved from like the Arrowverse stuff, that like early Arrowverse stuff that just got to be super just fun and comic booky. Does all of that work for me? No. There are some things in here I'm like, maybe that could have been polished up. Maybe that joke could have been cut out, or maybe this could have been pasted a little bit better. And I'm excited to see it again to really like finalize like, oh, that did work for me, or oh, that didn't work for me. But I personally had a fantastic time. I had a absolute joy, and I do think this is at the very least a great foundation for what's to come. I think, you know, I feel like sometimes these studios try to be like, oh, let's just launch our cinematic universe, let's just get it out there, get it, you know, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So I think, like, you know, I feel like even if you don't like this movie, I think it's a good foundation for like, okay, well, you know, Batman's coming and Blue Beetle's coming and Wonder Woman's coming and this other stuff along the lines where if this wasn't your vibe, some of this other stuff will be your vibe, and hopefully that can translate well.
And that's a good thought, because we're being told that we're going to get a lot of different, tonally different movies. At least the hope is that it's going to be a variation. And obviously, you know, James was saying that this movie is going to be a standalone Superman film with some, you know, extra characters and other stuff, but it is setting up stuff. I mean, that end scene with Supergirl is 100% setting up her movie. So, I mean, it's introducing her character in a very small way, but it's ready. That's the next movie. Now, I'm not expecting that to always happen.
And I think that's the best way to do it, though, because, like, if in some world, let's just say that movie doesn't come out, it is, but, like, let's say in a world it doesn't, it's not like, hey, what happened to that Supergirl movie that they had, like, a post-credit scene for? No, it's just a scene. It's just a scene, so it can be there even if the movie doesn't happen. Same with, like, Mr. Terrific. He's a character that, to me, that, like, it kind of felt like a backdoor pilot where it's like, oh, you like him here? Just you wait, right? But if that doesn't happen, he was a cool character in a cool movie, and that's it. You don't have to, you know, whatever. And I think that's going to be, I'm commending James Gunn already for not doing the, like, post-credit scenes, because, like, I love them, but we've seen how they can be damaging and what it's done to the industry and what happens when you don't pay them off. So I kind of hope this is a template that they keep in terms of, like, setting up characters going forward.
Yeah, I guess that's a good question to ask before we move on. Do you agree with the idea of the post-credit scenes not being something that is like setting up something? It just kind of is a small little thing, and then a scene that before the film ended that they kind of went back to. Personally, for me, I think it's fine, but at the same time, waiting till throughout the credits just for that small sequence that could have been in the movie, kind of strange. But I mean, it was still like, okay. But I also understand James's point of like, okay, I don't want to show something and set up something or I have to now deliver on something because now I've showed you it. Like Supergirl, like that was already in production
right
while the film was in post. So like, you know, well, Supergirl's already happening. And I'm wondering, based on how that was shot, she didn't actually interact with any, like, was she actually in a shot with another character besides Krypto?
No.
So that scene was definitely shot after they did principal photography. 100%.
Well, but she was
it
cast,
feels that way.
She was cast well before the movie went into production.
Yeah.
It just feels like, based on the way it's structured, like she actually wasn't in a shot with David Corenswet.
I mean, they could have. I mean, they could have done it. It's like similar to, remember when Ezra Miller was in the Flash crossover, you know, meeting Grant and everything. Yeah. People were like, "Wait, is he actually there?" And then they actually start touching each other. Like, he's actually, you know, but no, this for her being cast so early, it was for her to be in this later half of the end of the film. Now in terms, again, and they got the suit and everything. I'm surprised that suit didn't leak out. I mean, she was covered. I was like, wow, that really hit that, you know. I did not see any pictures. I mean, you know, you could say stuff from afar, blurred, whatever. But now AI is, you know, is a tool, enemy of itself, you know. So what's real now these days, right? But no, that was coming in later half of when she was cast, as soon as they were in production with this film.
What do you? I gotta ask you guys, right? What do you think about the Supergirl design of the suit? Like, from
I knew we were going traditional with cape, not with cape, with skirt. I think it make 100% sense. And I think it is smart to, I know you were complaining about the coat she had on, Tadia, but I think that actually is intentional. Either we've already seen set photos, very blurry stuff. They're waiting for that. Like they're making you wait.
I guess I didn't get a good look at it. Like having only seen it once and I haven't like seen the screenshots of it, I was like, Oh wait, what did it look like? I was just
the
so.
skirt. I thought
like,
the skirt was at a good length, where it was like it was
the same. I think
wasn't
right,
as long as CW, but it wasn't as high as like
Yeah.
Power Girl. Makes sense.
I think it fit her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just where it needed to be. And so now, for some critics, her hair is, that's another conversation, whatever. Not enough volume in her hair. Whatever.
I found a picture. I won't show it because obviously it's leaks from the film, but it's the same S as his. Like I thought it was.
Yeah.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
She's got a yellow belt, which makes sense. And the skirt, yeah, I mean, and yeah, I figured as much she was going to be in the movie. As soon as we come back to Fortress, I'm like, yeah, we're going to see Supergirl here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I honestly, I thought it was hilarious just for me how Krypto was slamming her on the ground and she was just enjoying it. She's like, yeah.
Yes, and that's a lot of people had. I mean, again, we'll get into it, but it's just I felt that there was a reason why she had to be in this movie, and I'm happy that it wasn't a post-credit scene because it's like, okay, the Krypto, for some people can presume, well, that's just a running joke. It's like, no, why is Krypto the way he is?
Yeah.
Because it's his owner. Right. And so it made sense at the end. It's like, and him making the line, it's like, no, it's not my dog. It's a foster situation.
Yeah, it's a foster situation.
He's like, you don't listen to me. I'm not his owner. So it's, then Carl shows up like, hey, where's my dog? Thanks. Yeah. Peace out, bitch. It's like, and then it was like, and also talking about, well, yeah, she's going partying on other planets and everything and stuff, but like, because there's trauma. There's layers to that. On surface level, like she'll come across like a sorority girl after a frat party. I'm like, no.
That's an assumption though. That's a big assumption on your part. I will say that because it does give off that, and we're told this is a family friendly movie, and you end the movie with Supergirl calling her cousin a bitch. Like, to me, this just doesn't. Like, I wasn't a fan of her being a drunk, but that's also for some very personal reasons. Like the fact she had an unruly dog. She had an unruly dog. She was a drunk, and she was calling her cousin a bitch. Like all this shit. Like I was in a very ugly situation with someone like that a while ago, so that gave me kind of whiplash. Again, a very personal reason, but like I've read the Woman of Tomorrow book. She doesn't drink her problems away. She just shoves them down and doesn't really address them. The only reason she does that in the book. In the beginning of the book, because she's only drunk in the first issue because she's celebrating her birthday. So it was even more jarring of a choice to me to do that with this character because of the fact that James Gunn has lived a sober lifestyle for quite some time. And it's just like, why would you do that to a comic book character who is meant to inspire children? It was a choice that I was just like, all right, dude, whatever. Thankfully, he's not directing that movie. And that's my thing. Like Darren brought up a really good point about how, and even Chainsaw did too, about how this world is going to have different tones, different people making it. And I'm like, that is probably the only thing that will keep my interest going, because outside of the fact that I walked out of this movie not liking it at all, it almost completely disintegrated any interest I had in the universe. And then I remembered, well, Lanterns is being written by Craig Mundy and Damon Lindelof, who did Watchmen, and that was fabulous. And then this movie, the Supergirl movie, is being directed by Craig Gillespie, who did I, Tonya and Cruella, which I actually was quite surprised by how good Cruella was.
I love that movie.
Yeah, really good.
It gives me hope that movie is good. And I like the book. I like the book that it's based off of. I like Woman of Tomorrow, so they have a solid basis for that movie. And Jason Momoa is going to be Lobo, and that's cool.
Right.
But this movie superbly just solidified that whatever the fuck James Gunn does in the future, I am probably not going to like it. That's for damn sure. But like on the Supergirl like aesthetic, the suit looked fine. The emblem looked fine. The coat was from the comic. Like it was cool. It was whatever. It was just kind of like and as far as like post credit scenes go, I mean, this kind of leads into just I wouldn't say a problem, but it's just something that Marvel Studios has just kind of brainwashed general audiences into just getting used to. Oh, you like this character? Well, guess what? There may or may not be a post-credit scene with this character you like so much. Looking at Civil War with Black Panther and Spider-Man. And that's just one example of anything else in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that they consistently did, where they would set shit up. but they've been kind of struggling with that with phase 4 and 5 because their projects just have not been all that successful financially. So everything feels like it's kind of a loose hanging thread. And even some of the DC movies prior to this universe getting its launch, there were things that happened at the end where you were just like, what the fuck?
Shazam,
Twice. Yeah, you know,
exactly,
you know whose bright idea it was to do that post-credit scene? I'll tell you, Peter Safran.
Yeah.
So,
and you know, just to like add on to that a little bit, like his main plan is seemingly is like he wants every movie to feel singular. He wants you to be able to walk in and be like, you can watch this one movie and then this one movie and then this one movie. And I think these post-credit scenes kind of instilled you to be like, okay, what's next? What next? And you're already thinking about what's next instead of just talking about this specific movie. And that's one thing I also kind of enjoyed here, where it's like, I'm not necessarily thinking about, okay, let's get ready for Supergirl, let's get ready for Lanterns. I'm thinking, hey, let's talk about this movie. Let's talk about everything in here, the good and the bad. Not like, okay, well, what's Downey doing and, you know, whatever. So,
and that's fair, because
I think it's a positive, personally.
Yeah, because what I think James might be doing is a few things. One, I think he's like thinking, well, there are still people that don't stay until the credits, so they just leave. So whatever he shows in those scenes, people in the theater are not going to see it.
My whole theater left.
Yeah, so people are going to leave. So you put the Supergirl scene before the ending of the movie, and what he could have done, which he didn't, he could have easily had after the credits roll, since Supergirl was in the film. Oh, boom! Here's a Lanterns tease, but we don't need to see that, right? Because it doesn't need to happen. But he could have easily done it, because that is the formula that people are expecting. Right. And since this is a Superman film, that we've not had a Superman movie in quite some time, so it makes sense like to not take the focus too much away. But I think Supergirl, it makes sense to have her in the film because of Crypto and the connection, and Supergirl's next. But it's really more so about this character in this world he's setting up. I mean, the opening crawl alone is giving you a lot of information, like 300 years ago, metahumans, and then it just kept going. Like, okay, like so that's why it makes sense that the world is just kind of like, oh, there's a giant kaiju. It's scary, but all right, because there's an imp, right? That whole first look of Superman, that's like an imp that came interdimensional thing. Yeah. It's same shit every day, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like it's whatever.
Can I respond to about the post-credit scene? Because I honestly felt the fact that those scenes didn't had anything to add in terms of leading to the next installment, like especially the one with Crypto and that to me, I thought that was good. While they still had the music going in the credits, and then it's just like silence. It was like I thought that was a very wholesome scene, even though it was quick, but it was giving off what the impact of Avengers with the Schramer scene. And how much of people think about it as a joke. What I'm saying is that a lot of DC fans have been waiting for a long time, just seeing these characters that have been put on a pedestal of this god imagery, and like, can we just reduce these people down, us to being relatable, which is what it made us like them in the first place. Some of us think that we're like Batman, some of us are orphans, some of us have been adopted like Superman, some of us have dealt with imposter syndrome like the Flash. Like a lot of things, all of those things have fundamental layers while we attach ourselves to these characters. So when there's moments like that where it's like, oh no, I'm just adding another scene just to add just personality and spirit to this movie on top of what I already did before. Even the end, Mr. Terrific, and he was like, hey, can we do that? Again, I keep going back to the animation, but like I've never scenes of that. Like, hey, did you really have to punch it that hard? It's like, well, I'm like, what you want me to do this XYZ? It's like you're in the business, like, well, yeah, you could have done it better. And it's like, man, I didn't mean. I have really trouble being, come across as a dick or something. It's like, but because it's Superman, he cares about, all right, and I want to save many people I can, but also create the most least amount of damage as I can. Hey, be careful, like that stuff. Like that's part of his character. So when that moment there is like, I'm glad it wasn't Brainiac is here coming. Like, no, they haven't earned that yet. Yeah. Like in terms of establishing that criteria for us for this universe. That Marvel, Marvel, they impacted the culture of movie going audience with comic book films. You better just stay by the end. If you don't, then I guess we're just not a good comic book movie. No, that just.
The one thing I'll say is what surprised me is that we didn't get Solaris, but a similar like character, if you know what I mean, in this when Superman is talking to Lois and you see the Justice Gang fighting, we all thought that was Solaris, remember?
Yes, right.
Yeah.
It wasn't right.
It's
He was
funny
a-
that
yeah.
some of the All-Star Superman influences are surface level at best. I
Yeah.
find that absolutely hilarious. But then again, that story in and of itself is such a dense Superman story filled with so many different things going on. Like there are two other beings, Samson and Atlas, who come and like they try and fucking arm wrestle Superman, and then the Sphinx God comes. Like Lex Luthor.
Yeah, there was
gets
a lot.
banned.
There was a
Like
lot.
there's a lot of shit
Yeah.
that I wasn't expecting it to be in the movie at all. Don't get me wrong, but it's just like when I think about like the influence of All-Star Superman on this movie specifically, the robots for the most part looked a lot like them. The facial structure was just slightly different. The fortress kind of looked like it from All-Star, but not quite, because the one in All-Star is fucking massive and even houses the Titanic inside it. Even just so, like, I guess maybe even the look of David Cornswet is kind of All-Star Superman, save for the cape being a lot longer than it is in the book, I should say. But yeah, like, and to Tadia's point, I wasn't sure if that was like Solaris or like something else. So when it happened in the movie, I was like, oh, this is literally just a hand wave, nothing better that the Justice Gang has to fucking take care of, because he's depressed at the fact that his family actually sent him there to be a conqueror instead of being an uplifter and you know, a beacon for humanity. No, it turns out he's a conqueror, and I that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
But when I think about, again, the influences of All-Star, I'm not shocked that he used as much as he did, because had he done, you know, 2 extra Kryptonians coming to conquer, had he done Solaris, right, like and sapping the energy from the sun, I think that would have been incredibly more of a task to write yourself out of. I mean, Lex Luthor was Lex Luthor to an extent, I suppose, from that story, but you know, that story in and of itself, I think All-Star Superman is in a way the best send-off you could give for Superman, in the same way that The Dark Knight Returns is for Batman. That's why All-Star Superman works the way that it does. So when it was used as a basis here, I think you could even argue that I would say Superman for All Seasons probably has more influence tonally too, and characterization-wise, personality-wise, over All-Star, which is why he probably mentioned All Seasons alongside All-Star. But
yeah,
I'm just fucking rambling.
That's
it's
the comic I haven't read, so
yeah, I think that's a good jumping point to like, how did we feel about David as a whole as Superman, and Clark, because he had to play both roles. I personally really liked how he portrayed this version of Superman, and I like his Clark as well. We didn't see a lot of his Clark, because even though we're seeing him as Clark Kent, a lot of the times it's behind closed doors.
Superman,
it's behind closed doors, so we didn't really get to see a lot more. And I do think there's probably more in the cutting room floor, because I bet there's more scenes of him in the Daily Planet. I liked his portrayal. I think he came across really well. I think his dialogue and the way he like actually, you know, portrayed certain moments, whether he's Superman flying, whether he's, you know, having the conversation with Lex about, you know, crypto. Yeah, he's obviously losing it, and I understand the critique about he's very emotional, because Superman is very emotional in this movie. He's also, it feels like it's a blend where he's like, okay, he's only been Superman for a couple of years. He's also not really used to actually having his emotions basically come out and be the main driving point of him being in the suit. And now the whole world's looking at him in a very different way. I mean, anybody in that situation would be, you know, on edge, but I think he just didn't know how to handle himself. And I think it's a learning point for him, you know? No, go ahead.
I thought it was very smart to have this be the first time he's lost a fight. Like, I kind of thought that was kind of a cool idea of, like, very much like, kind of like Homelander-ish from, like, The Boys, where it's like, why is Homelander so weak? It's because he's never had a challenge in his life. And so I think he's kind of going, like, L for L for L for L this entire movie, like, for the first time. And that's why I think the, like, quote-unquote, like, weak allegations are coming from, because it's like, he hasn't had to deal with this up until this point, and I think that's going to be very fun to watch him over the course of the series get stronger, get more used to this world, get like, oh, I am not the only one in this level anymore. I need to get used to that. But I personally really liked David. I wouldn't say he's my favorite Superman. Can he get there? Maybe, possibly, right? But I think that I thought that was kind of interesting that, like, obviously he's what I love about Superman. He's that very wholesome, I want to protect everyone character, but he cares so much that sometimes he turns into a bit of an asshole. And I thought that was a very interesting approach that, like, I don't dislike, but also I'm like, okay, I need to I just need more of this guy. I need to learn his vibe more. And I get, that's just the thing. It's like, it's a movie. I'm not going to have what I had with like My Adventures or Tyler or even Tom Welling, because we had so much time with the guy. And similar to Henry, where it's like, I want more of you. I want to see more of this guy. And we unfortunately didn't get the chance to do that. So I'll be curious, when it comes to a sequel or any other appearance he has going forward.
Yeah, I think that with David, because to me, yes, could we guys say I want more Clark? Yes, but that's because I enjoyed even the brief moments of him, and even when he was in the office, how he's kind of distorting his voice, like his voice is a little bit deeper as Clark than that, and like, oh yeah, Superman, he didn't really, and off rip, again, even though they have the whole hip the glasses, element to it, but just off rip, like you having the ways of acting distinctly different. The Clark Kent persona in the Daily Planet, that's a mask, and Superman, that's who he is. Even the moments of after he got, cleared out his kryptonite poison, and him just sitting on the porch, with his dad and everything, like that was Clark, right? Mm-hmm. But again, but yes, it was still Superman. So I'm saying I'm seeing Clark even when he's at her apartment and everything, having that interview, and even to a point of when he's in the office and trying to, give that persona. There's two distinctive like types of Clark. There's the Clark in Smallville, and there's the Clark in the Daily Planet, right? And I'm saying for us getting the foundation, we got the Clark from Smallville, and his foundation has morals and how he was raised, and we're seeing how he's interacting with people as he's working, i.e. being Superman. Like saying, do we have to kill him? Can we just euthanize him? Put it is like, and other people reacting to his naiveness, but it's because the positivity of it is like, again, there's also a toxic trait that comes with that, where people are not realistic about what's going on here. And I think, again, going back to why I enjoyed, how James is writing some of these characters, because of that, is that I've already seen, knowing my character, you're not trying to act like I don't know who I'm watching. Like, I know this is Superman. We know the character of him being stoic and, being firm and everything. Yeah. But this is a 3-year-old Superman in his career. And again, even going back to the debates about Man of Steel, like, well, he's only Superman for a day, whatever. I'm like, this, you actually are seeing what happens when someone has been Superman, doing all this stuff for 3 years, and then he just lost his fight. And it's like, man, I thought, wait, what just happened? And like,
jumping right into that,
right. And then so again, that even though he might not admit it, because also it is an ego. He's like, yeah, I think I'm doing very well. It's like, Lois, I can't say that, but you told me you want me to interview, so I'm going to do it. I'm challenging even Superman, most positive person out there in the DC universe. I am challenging you, right? So I felt like for that, even though I thought Henry was definitely capable of that, he just wasn't given the opportunity. I'm just glad we were able to see it in this context, even them, their banter like that. Like, again, for me, I can't talk about Clark without speaking about Lois. Again, I thought it was just yin and yang with that, and I felt they were beautifully cast, and I could see with James in terms of having the chemistry test of multiple different actors. Saying, okay, this was a good Lois, but she wasn't interacting well with this Clark, and that's just like a puzzle piece until you got the perfect canvas. And I believe we got it here, that these are younger people in their career, early 30s, and for me as a fan of this, I would love to see how these actors, but really the characters, mature in this world, and how their arc is going to evolve them, just like similar with Tony Stark and Steve Rogers. They are different people when they were in their first films, and it was beautiful just to watch that journey from phase 1 to 3. But I think for this, we're seeing the early ages of phase 1, and even that comes with them being naive and not being the full embodiment of who we know them to be, because they're not there yet.
Mm-hmm. It makes sense. Yeah, I think they did a good job with the chemistry. Yeah, for sure.
For me, David, I really liked his portrayal as Superman, but when it comes down to Clark, I just thought it was a bit too short. Like like how Darren has said, right? And
He's too
I
small?
agree. It was
Sorry.
it was
Sorry.
Yeah, that's why I was like, you too short.
Too short.
He's 6 foot.
Yeah.
He talked.
Sorry, buddy. Go ahead.
Yeah, as I was saying, it was like the part for Clark. It was a bit,
Yeah.
there was
Brief.
minimum.
It was brief.
Yeah.
It was brief moments. I was just like, I would love to have seen more of Clark at the Daily Planet. His reporting. I would like to see all of that. I would like to see him do reporting work for the Daily Planet. At least a bit of scene of that. That would be nice. But we didn't get there.
Not to cut you off, but like I think that was a little bit of where a lot of my frustrations lied, because like I was so excited to see the like Lois Lane, Clark Kent, Jimmy Olsen dynamics, and like Perry White and Cat Grant and the whole like Daily Planet stuff. That stuff felt very non-existent for like 90% of the movie, and like that I was a little like, I think exiting it, I felt a little bummed. I was like, why am I feeling so bummed? It's like, oh, because the thing I wanted to see the most wasn't there, and it's like, oh, that's really, really unfortunate. So I hope for when we get a sequel, I hope it's more like, I hope that's a big focus of that next one. It's like them there, and then big stuff kind of as the afterthought in a way. Where like obviously it's still part of the big movie, but like that stuff is the focus first. And I think that's why, and again, maybe that's just me coming off of Superman and Lois when like everything was character focused, right? Like that's what they had at their core, that's what they did, and then action stuff second. And maybe that's just what I like from Superman. I like the like Clark interacting with everybody and his friends and his family, and that being the core, and it is still his core, but we see it just a little bit less because it's a movie. They just can't. They physically cannot do it.
Yeah. That's a good point, man. That's a really good point.
You make some really good points. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fair because I mean, unfortunately, this movie they cut it down. I think because the pacing is just go go go.
Yeah.
But I wish there was at least like another 5 to 10 minutes, and maybe it's just them, right? It's those scenes because I really do feel they had a lot more for them. But James is like, yeah, because I think he was talking about like, is there any like bonus scenes? Like, yeah, there is stuff that they cut, so that but there's no director's cut. Like, this is the director's cut for him. But I don't think it was the right decision. Like, I get it. Pacing wise, this thing moves, right? And you're going. But I think it would have maybe been more appreciative maybe if we had some of those more character moments that were cut, those small dialogues. I bet there was also scenes that were shaved down, right? Because I think that scene where Clark goes into the Daily Planet for the first time after the whole entire opening of the movie, I think there was a lot more in that scene that was probably cut down.
Yeah, he made first page. He made like, and so it's just like, what does that do to someone's career? Like, hey, I made first page, and talking about it, and then you see a little bit more of that banter of him still being Clark Kent, but then Lois playing like, well, how'd you get that interview and all stuff like that? And just the way they just distinctly just kind of throw everybody else off, but we're, you and I are still in the game, whatever, right? But to that point, Dan, like, as a fan of Superman, I would love to see that trio, especially Jimmy and Clark together. Like, when we get to the point of him having to watch, like, and stuff like that, it's like, because, like, they're like good co-workers, but are they best friends? I
didn't sense that at all.
I didn't get that sense.
I didn't get that vibe yet. No.
I also was not, and to kind of go on your stuff, Phil, I was not a fan of the Jimmy humor in this movie. That was the stuff that really
I'll talk about
bugged me the wrong way.
I'll talk about that.
It felt almost disrespectful to Jimmy as a character to make him
I don't know
object of desire in the way that they did. That I was
first of all, when it comes to David Cornswet as Superman, again, I mentioned up top, I think everyone did a good enough job with what they were handed to do. Did I like it? Not particularly. Especially David as Superman. I actually liked his Clark a little bit more than I did like his Superman, because his Superman is just so... I fucking hate to say it. He's fucking corny, and I don't like that. I hear this really stupid blanket statement from people of like, oh, Superman's corny, and I'm like, okay, number one, blanket statements are stupid. Number two, Superman does not always have to be corny. He doesn't. And there are plenty of other comics where he's not a corny, quippy, fucking smiling freak saving cats out of trees. Mike, you can fucking zoom in on your face all you want, dude. Like, it's not going to bother me any. I'm going to continue to talk. But, like, I think when it comes to doing Superman, when it comes to portraying the character, I don't think there's ever been a bad actor to play the character. But I do think that some of the material they've been handed, like Christopher Reeve, the material he got handed for every subsequent movie after the first one, the quality went down. That was abundantly clear.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make it about the other 3 films from my favorite director because that's just not fair. But when it comes to this movie, when it comes to Superman, like, I don't care about the fact that he's like, hey, what the hey, dude? What are you doing to my cave? It's like you took your dog in from your cousin knowing full well she's an unruly dog. So that's on you. You fucking say, I got to get back to the fray, even though you just got your ass beat by someone you don't know. And like a lot of the expository line delivery from him, it just feels so like Christopher Reeve redux. And I think James Gunn deliberately went out of his way to cast someone almost exactly like Christopher Reeve, because this movie wears the 1978 stuff on its sleeve unabashedly, from the score to the colors, like everything about this film, even from a plot standpoint, is very much like we're riffing 78 and we're riffing Quest for Peace, especially with the Ultraman stuff. You can't sit here and tell me that clone of Superman was not inspired by what happened with Nuclear Man and Quest for Peace, because it absolutely was. He may not be Nuclear Man. I'm not saying he's Nuclear Man. I'm just saying, like, the fucking dominoes fall where they will. And I just think that it's abundantly clear that James Gunn is 1000% inspired by that era of Superman. And that's ultimately one of my biggest problems with this film lacks an identity because it is so dependent on the 1978 stuff. That theme, like, how many fucking times did I need to hear the John Williams theme throughout this fucking movie? That was a waste of my time. It was and it really gave this film a lack of an identity, because we want to hit everyone with the nostalgic feel. It's like, yeah, this is the Superman everyone fucking remembers. This is the theme, and it's like, no, you can't have it both ways, Mr. I love the Justice League and I love Justice League Unlimited. Because guess what? Superman the Animated Series didn't have a John Williams theme.
I do kind of somewhat like. I was okay with the trailer. Like, I was like, okay, I get it. You wanted to put butts in seats. I wish he would have had his own theme. I think he should have had his own theme. That is something I will agree with.
It's a fair comparison. We also have to bring someone in a second, but it's a good point to, like, say, look at the Batman. It had its own theme. 100% his own theme. Now, imagine if the Batman from, Matt Reeves had the freaking Batman the Animated Series theme, and they just threw it in there. I understand, like, and I think that's a fair point. And I'm hoping that as we continue further in this universe, we get an actual theme for Superman, because right now we don't actually have one. No, fine.
Not to bring it up again, but like my favorite Superman theme is that like Superman and Lois theme, because like what it
I do love
like that show, like
great.
That inspires like hope and like warmness. So it's like. And so, so I'm glad they could have easily just been like, all right, let's just do this one. So like, I definitely agree there that I think like, and maybe someday he can get something right. But like, I do agree that like, I wish he would have got something.
There should be an actual thing.
I would disagree with that. Again, explain another discussion, because I felt I shared his sentiment. Like, I wasn't a fan of the trailer music, going the guitar of that, but then they were like, oh wait, this is the actual theme. But then when I hear more of it in this film, I do think there is a lingering, like, I disagree when saying that it doesn't lack an identity. I think it very does have, like, but obviously going back to the roots of who Superman is. Yes, I understand you're saying that it's coming off across the Christopher Reeves. Well, I will say Superman Returns is more getting off literally verbatim. It's copy, click, paste their score from the Christopher Reeves one. And so I'm like, I that's what I'm saying with this. We're having inspiration, but it still is original in terms of how they are balancing out with different symphonies. And my example with that.
Okay, but hold on real quick. Just keep in mind, Superman Returns was meant to be a spiritual sequel to Superman 1 and 2. So of course it was going to use the John Williams theme. Just saying.
I completely understand. But what I'm saying with this film, I felt as I heard the music in a way that it was, like, I felt like this was it didn't bother me as much as I was expecting it to, and I actually think in moments it actually worked. To a point where we're getting back to the comic roots, but then when we're thinking of the comics, that film is so iconic, that theme is so iconic that even to the point, Spider-Man, Tom Holland's version took a inspiration off of the original theme song, but they still had inspiration going on. But the Homecoming, like if you hear or you heard it, it's still playing on the Spider-Man. Like it still was doing that. So I would say they're identical in terms of what the Spider-Man Tom Holland franchise did with their theme, but even then they've grown and evolved to create more of their own. I feel the same way will happen for this, but for what I have here, I thought the score was fine. I mean, it could have been better and everything, yeah, but not everything got to be Hans Zimmer, nor am I saying that's what you guys are saying. But I'm saying what here, I say it worked for me. Because again, it went back to, again, you're feeling the spirit of Superman in the music. And I felt that in certain scenes that they actually, okay, I understand why they use inspiration from his music. It worked in certain scenes.
Okay. But to push back on one thing you said, in regards to the Superman theme evoking the comics, that's my fucking problem. It doesn't evoke the comics at all because it evokes straight up 1978. And there has been Superman material 40 years prior to that and even 45 years after that. There's so much more to Superman. There's the Fleischer Studios cartoons, which absolutely predate 1978. There's Superman and the Mole Men that predates 1978. There is so much Superman material that predates 1978. Was it as, iconic or memorable? Maybe not really, but even still. And even stuff after Superman 1978 had its own identity and its own theme. And to your point about Spider-Man, I don't disagree in the slightest at all. But I would also point out that the Spider-Man theme for the MCU is a celebration of everything Marvel, and that's Marvel Studios as a whole. Think about it this way. There were two other versions of Spider-Man prior to Tom Holland's version. Neither one of those used the main Spider-Man theme as a remixed version of their theme. They had their own scores. You hear Danny Elfman's theme and you think, fucking, that's Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Yeah. I forget who did it. Was James Horner, I think, who did Amazing Spider-Man 1, and then in 2 it was Gillis Newtons and Hans Zimmer who did part 2. And then we get to Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and it's like, oh, this is Marvel Studios. Marvel Studios is a celebration of fucking everything Marvel. So of course they were going to be like, hey, Michael Giacchino, why don't you try remixing the old theme from the TV show that fucking kids in the 60s grew up with? And it fucking worked because Spider-Man was a kid again. Now, will they do it again for Spider-Man Brand New Day? Have no idea. But in regards
something
to
new,
this,
something new, shit.
Again, in regards to this,
yes, I agree with you, but I will say also this: even as a lover of Man of Steel, do I think what score do I enjoy more, this one or that one? Man of Steel is the better score.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
I agree with that. I mean, I have a very distinct ear listening to movie score. I listen more to movie scores than I do of actual, like, some songs sometimes. That's just me, so it's like, but I am saying Man of Steel's theme is better than this movie. Well, I'm just saying that that the theme, could have been better, yes, but I'm saying it was okay for me. I didn't think it was like I had an issue with like with the theme. I identify it, and I hope they evolve and trying to make it more original and everything. But again, I think it's gonna take time. But
here, I'll compromise great themes. Do you remember the Superman 75th anniversary short from Bruce Timm and Zack Snyder?
Yeah.
Okay,
yes.
When they started with the John Williams theme and then they moved into the Zimmer theme, that is a beautiful marriage of what it means to encapsulate the history of Superman. Mm-hmm. But then we go to this movie, right? And we're going, we're going to do the Williams theme, but it's going to be under an electric guitar. I'm like, yeah, but that's still the John Williams theme, no matter what way you slice it.
Yeah,
okay,
100%.
And that is a problem for me because I want a new version of Superman. When there's My Adventures with Superman, we can do this like almost anime-esque poppy K-pop fucking intro for Superman, and it sounds awesome because it fits the tone and the nature and the personality of that show. But then I look at this movie and it's like I hear that theme and I'm like, I don't think of David Cornswet as his own Superman. I just go back to like, oh, we're doing Christopher Reeve again. Mm-hmm. And that's a problem for me. And that's clearly not a problem for general audiences. Because I'll be honest, I know I'm in the minority on this. I have no problem admitting my bias, 100%. But the fact of the matter is like general audiences just look at Superman and they just fucking think Christopher Reeve. And that's just a reality I have to accept. And it's an unfortunate reality in my opinion. But at the same time, it's like, whatever fucking works, right? Whatever works to get butts in seats. And, you know, a lot of, Mike mentioned, he saw this movie with all walks of life. People wearing certain hats. You said they were older, right?
Older.
Chances are they probably saw that movie in 1978.
Yeah.
It's like I was gonna bring this up, right?
I think he needs to bring someone.
Yeah,
in.
I've been trying to bring someone in for the past 5 minutes. So so Jake is here and Ronan. What's up, guys?
Hey,
Yo,
Tag team.
No.
I kept seeing you being like,
Yeah. I'm trying. What's up, Rhea? What's up? Welcome in.
Hey.
Hello.
So yeah,
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say for me, I prefer the Hans Zimmer theme compared to this, right? And I respect Phil's opinions and his opinion on the film. So there's that. I'm gonna put out there. Me personally, I wish there was. You know, I would like something similar to the DeCamu Superman theme. That you remember, Darren, at the end of the DeCamu, when at the end of the reign of Superman, when Superman had his own theme finally after so many years.
what
DC animated movie universe, the DC New AU.
Okay.
I had no idea what he's talking about. All right. I was like, what? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you could have said that better, Tadia. No offense.
Yeah, I had no idea what you're saying, dude.
Sorry.
It's all right.
But yeah, so the DC animated movie universe where
Sure.
in the reign of Superman towards the end, finally Superman had his own theme.
Sure.
And I felt if in the Superman films they had something similar for that,
Right.
it would have been a little bit easy, much more better compared to just having that.
Yeah.
It'd be easier, I think.
here's a hot take.
Oh.
Superman versus the Elite, and also Superman Doomsday, because it used that same track before. I think that's probably the single best Superman theme out of TV, movies, and animation.
I would have to.
Okay.
You're not wrong. They had some fire ones in DC animation. Again,
Yeah.
Flashpoint Paradox theme that they brought back at the end of Apocalypse War when he went back. Like with Flash, like, to me, when I hear that, I distinctly think of Flash. Like, but that's again, we have the CW Flash theme, you know, whatever. So it's like it's a lot of things. You guys are not wrong. Like we can say ones are better or worse, whatever. But I'm saying with this movie, it was okay for me. But I liked improvement. Yes. Same thing with Bucky from Thunderbolts. Like that was when he came in. Great theme. How long we waited till Winter Soldier?
Yeah.
That was one of my biggest things too. Watching this, not only did I hear that 1978 chime, I think way too many times, but also, and I especially noticed this when you compare it against Gunn's other projects. Personally, for me, not even counting the overuse of that theme, I think this might be one of just the weaker scores, period, out of his comic movies. Because it didn't really stand out to me, if I'm being honest.
Well, to be fair, this is arguably, I don't mean to cut you off, but just to add on to that, this is arguably the only time he ever did an outright score, because all three of his Guardians films and his Suicide Squad film all use needle drops as opposed to a full-fledged fucking
That
score.
is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a hot take. I think Gunn's best score or use of score is in the first Guardians. Like there was a distinctiveness to the basic one, the one when they all unite, when there's a moment of connection. Like after that, there's only a track or two that I think of in terms of the score. To me, Volume 2, I just think of the Yondu score when he may have been your father, boy, but he wasn't your daddy. Like that's the only time I can think of a score hitting that hard. And I like John Murphy's theme for the Suicide Squad, but that's the only theme right now that hits me when I think of that film. I have to rely on the soundtrack, and so yeah.
This is also fair. Yeah, Tyler, you're 100% right. He does like having dads being evil. Before we continue, Jake and Ronan, I want to get your guys kind of like generalized thoughts on the film. You've only seen it once, or I think Ronan's seen it more than once, but Jake, you've only seen it once today, right?
Right.
Okay. So
Fresh.
what were your thoughts, Jake, out of being today? Yes.
Okay.
Oh no.
So
10-minute essay, go.
right. This one was weird because going into it, they started off with the whole Star Wars approach where they have the text over the screen throwing you into the world. I'm like, okay, would I have done it that way? Maybe, maybe not. But at the end of the day, there were a lot of things that I liked, as I said in the Discord. There were things I didn't like, and almost everything that I did like had like a but after it, where like I think both David Cornswet and Rachel Brosnahan were very well cast in those roles. I think they had great chemistry. Their Clark and Lois scenes I liked. Wish we could have seen a little bit more of those, especially after that like 10-minute interview segment that we got with them. That brought out a lot of good emotions. And I was not I was not a fan of Hoult as Lex Luthor. I thought he was fine performance-wise, but from a writing standpoint, it just felt very flat. Maybe that's coming off of a Luthor like we got in Superman and Lois, where you just had this intense, bitter, rageful, like over-the-top Luthor in just the most, aggressive ways. Maybe coming off of that one, the exposure felt odd. Other Justice Gang members, not even just for them, but arguably for the whole movie, Eddie Gathegi as Mr. Terrific was probably one of, if not my favorite part.
Yeah.
Stole every scene he was in. Nathan Fillion did better as Guy Gardner than I expected him to. I expected to not really like it going in, and you're not supposed to like Guy Gardner, so they captured that. Hawk Girl didn't really get to do a whole lot. And I was confused as to why I was like, why is she even in this movie then if you're not going to have her do anything?
It was,
I agree. Yeah.
The other standout I think was Metamorpho. I actually liked him in the movie quite a bit. Had a lot of heart and kind of showed that he, like Superman, cares for people that he doesn't even know. Like when I can't remember the guy's name, but whenever the guy gets shot and he's like, he just killed that guy for no reason. It's like you're bringing in some heart there. But like I said, the overuse of the music, and this one really bothered me. I said this before, but I'll expand on the point of those. I don't know the term for it, but those flying shots that Gunn did in Guardians 3, and you see a lot of in this movie. I already knew I wasn't going to like those going into it, but there were multiple points, especially in the final battle with the clone, which I predicted pretty early.
We all did.
Yeah. In that final battle, the action just felt, I don't know, did it seem hyper edited to anybody else? It's like
rubbery.
They were throwing back and forth across the screen a lot, and it didn't really seem like there were a lot of stakes in the final fight in comparison to the first fight that you see with the kaiju, where they're going up against him in the sky and Superman's trying to save the civilians from getting hurt. Which I know, if I say something like that, it's going to be like, oh, people complain Cavill didn't save civilians. That's not what I'm saying. The point is, when you show a scene like that, it's almost like, why do we really care what happens in this final fight? It doesn't really feel like it has a whole lot of weight. And like I said, as far as the music goes, I wasn't a fan of the score. And one other thing, I don't know if anyone's brought this up yet, even though we know exactly what's happening in a year from now with Supergirl in the book that they're adapting. So maybe it's because we know that this bothered me, but I didn't like the ending where they're directly spoon feeding you what's going to happen. Where like she cameos in, it's like, hey, she likes going to this place because it's a red planet with a red sun. We can't experience alcohol, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, do you really need to tell us all of that right here? So I wasn't a fan of that. Fair. But you also
I can take it or leave it. Yeah.
There's probably a lot of people who are watching this movie that have never read a comic book.
Fair.
You guys got to think about that too. Like, I also understand, like, maybe you don't have to explain all of it because presumably they're going to explain all this in her movie.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Execution could have been better. I think you could say that.
Yeah. So thoughts, Ronan? Overall, kind of quick thoughts.
I had a blast with this film. Like, again, I know some folks be like, okay, me, putting out my connection with this film via the animated series and stuff like that. And I think I like Mike had said it multiple times that, like, we're not saying we want a cartoon. We're saying that the vibe that era brought us and introduced to these characters, I haven't felt in a long, long time from DC. And the fact that this felt like a heartbeat going back of like, oh God, we're getting that vibe again. Again, different iteration. This is live action, not animation. But the fact that we're getting that synergy, that's what was like, oh yeah. And the fact that to me there was perfect casting throughout the board. I mean, even the people that didn't really like get enough time to do anything, I was like, okay, thank God we just have it established. We don't have to explain it. We don't have to throw a line of like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have dinner with Kat later on. It's like, no, we saw Kat Grant there. All right, whether you spend time with her or not, that's up for people to decide whether that was a good thing or a bad thing. But I love the lived-in element, and I liked that. To me, the whole time, I wasn't sure of the whole Jor-El thing and Kal-El's parents being evil or not was a thing. I still haven't really fully processed it yet. I'm like, wow, are they really bad, or is this the whole thing a big bait? And I can get people be like, oh, what the fuck? That's bullshit. I can get that. But the fact that we spent with Ma and John Kent and have that very earnest Kansas farmer folk just being like, hi Clark, we're just checking in. And I was like, oh Jesus.
Yeah, they were
I haven't
so
felt
good.
like woo. And the fact, that talk of him being so like emotional now, I was like, that's why, dude. Doesn't matter you were sent on a mission. Like that, it's forget the mission. What do you feel? Do you feel like helping people? Do you like helping people? And he does. And I was just like, man. And again, people could say I'm biased because of James Gunn, because I'm a fan and whatnot. But here's the interesting dynamic is that I like Superman. He doesn't make my top 10 favorite characters in superheroes and comic book related. He doesn't. I like the character, but over recently I've come to connect with him more and more because of the immigrant angle. So I appreciate that now. But the fact that David brought in his take and Rachel really, man, as Lois was just like, it was freaking me out. I was like, how did you get the little I've read of Lois, what I experienced in the animated verse, and the little with the first Superman movie Lois Lane actress brought. Like I felt it even with costume and stuff. I was like, it was freaking me out in a good way. So I dug this film. Now, having said that, some stuff that Phil has brought up in other formats or the talks, stuff that Jake's brought up, I do agree with. Like, there's times, like, to me, the whole scene of like Lois and Clark talking while there's a big battle in the background. Once the first time they addressed it, that was happening, that was good enough for me. I didn't need to cut back while him saying, good Coco or whatever. I was just like, no, do close-ups, stay with him. That's not important right now. He's not the only superhero. They can manage that. What's important right now is this talk. Is this talk of Lois and Clark and being like, you see everyone beautiful, and he's like, maybe that's the punk rock. And him saying that was like, whew. I was like, I need that right now. I need that. I think I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but yeah, Mr. Terrific was smooth killer, man. Every time he was on scene, I was just like, I've never been a bigger fan of Mr. Terrific than now. And give him a movie, give him a TV show, give him a DC special, if you will. Like, get him going, man. And yeah, I came into it being pumped for Guy Gardner, even though he's my least favorite Lantern. But yeah, I love him. And the fact his timing with comedy was perfect for me. Like, to me, it was the hypno glasses and be like, oh, so he's Clark Kent. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? And, I loved it. The Hall of Justice design was good, and
yes, it was.
Yeah, I've only seen it twice, and I'm looking forward to seeing it a third time. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, saw a third today. Do it.
Nice.
Can I talk about that scene with the dimensional imp thing? Because I'm using my wife for example, right? For this, I've been waiting for a long time to try to find material where I can have my wife join and be a part of and everything, right? So where she don't have to watch 50 million things to get on, So this was it. And she's like, wait, Mike, what is that? Like, babe, what is that? Just watch it. And in what that scene was representing, in the fact of again, the dialogue for me was everything in that scene, because the nonchalantness, I am Superman. What is the biggest thing we always complain about in the MCU with all these different characters? Okay, we're in DC or we're in China. Where's Shang-Chi? Hey, where's Captain America? Wait, you're in New York? Where's Spider-Man? And the fact of in all the Marvel movies we have not had a scene in any Marvel movie that was to that extent of of a hero, not even a stronger hero, just sitting there like, I could go there and help him and end this stuff, but like, nah, I'm good. They got it handled. And it was creating the nonchalantness of the universe because of the fact like Metal Heroes been around for centuries. It's like they're not. There's probably been something bigger or like similar that happened 20, 30 years ago, whatever. That's been taken care of. We have Green Lanterns. You're the third one. Like that's, what I mean? Like that's to me was I felt it was simplistic. Even then, again, the James Gunnism. Did they have to say the joke about drinking the coffee? That's some good coffee.
Good hot cocoa or whatever. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You didn't have to do that. No. But that's what I'm saying is that I think people are getting frustrated with James. But I think it's disingenuous because you're telling somebody not to be what he does. Right? Like you had to expect some of that coming into this movie that was going to be in there. Now, could that still be a flaw? Yes. But I didn't expect something otherwise, like, oh, I wanted something different like this way. I'm like, James been doing that. James been doing stuff like that. So to me, it was not jarring. I expected something like that to happen. But again, with that scene for just regular non-comic fans, they were laughing. They're just like the dead silence of that. And they're still the baseball hitting, whatever. They were liking it because they thought like, what the hell's going on? No. Let me talk to Lois about, hey, like that.
I did think it was very funny. We spent like years trying to theorize, like, okay, what is this thing? How does it incorporate into the plot? It doesn't. We still have no idea what
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. But even in the trailer too, we see it.
Yeah.
And we're like, what's going on here? And then we're like, what the hell is this?
Right.
It's like
so
it's an interdimensional amp.
That thing was like the first. Wasn't that in the first image?
Very first.
David.
Over
like this.
Yeah, with putting the boots on.
Yeah.
What makes me appreciate that picture now more? It makes me appreciate that picture now. I'm like, man, he was just having a rough day, but thankfully he's not the only hero.
Yeah.
But also to go back to what Jake was saying about the whole Star Wars opening crawl things, I dug it, and to echo Jake's sentiments, for me, it would have been nice if I would have seen a little bit of him stopping the war. I think that would have helped me more digest the whole thing of like, maybe he shouldn't have done that, even though that was the right thing to do. And again, there was some times that I wish it would have been show, no tell. Don't tell me, just show me. Not to even use any like exposition, if you will. Just show me a little bit. Make me experience it. That way, I could be like, "Yay, we stopped the war!" But also, oh fuck, there's consequences even when we do a good thing like that. And there's stuff again, like even his last monologue. I'm like, see, that's why I'm human. Like even that monologue, that speech was okay. It didn't feel fully earned, and it didn't help that after that, Lex got ragtaggled by Krypto, and I love Krypto. I love Krypto throughout the whole movie, but I was just like, I don't think we needed that moment.
I didn't like that scene either.
It wasn't necessary, and so
it makes sense.
Yeah, again,
no sense.
Yeah, like to me, it's a good way of saying it. To me, a lot of the good of the film outweighed a lot of the nitpicky and stuff that I'm like, that wasn't as strong as it should have been or could have been. And again, I like his style, but then again, I had to adjust to a lot of stuff in this one because he's not dealing with full on third tier characters that are not well known, that he could do whatever he wants and revision to his need, like he did with Polka Dot Man and with Rocket Raccoon. Like this was Superman. This is AAA player. You have to bring in your end game to it, and some stuff worked, some stuff didn't work for me. And again, his soundtracks are a big part of the soul of his movies and his shows, and they mean a lot to me. And so I had to readjust myself with like, okay, very very few tracks to majority of the score, and this time with the choice of music and score didn't fully work for me. It worked at points, but not at all. And so I want to just make it clear that I didn't. For me, I know people a lot of experience the 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, experience for a lot of people, and if they did that, good on them. But to me, and Phil knows this, I am a huge James Gunn fan, and even this doesn't crack my top 3 projects of his, in my opinion. Maybe it will. Maybe in time it will. But right now, no. To me, Commandos still is better than this for me.
I think so too. And I'll give credit where credit's due here. I think they captured with Cornswet that nature to where Clark he's not that he's trying to just throw away the concerns of what's going on in the bigger world around him, but that the first thing on the forefront of his mind is doing what's right because it's right and because he can.
Yeah.
I like that they captured that element, but
Yeah.
I just wish the actual flow of the movie would have served that better.
And you know what's weird? Some stuff I didn't need to spend a lot of time with these characters because I already did spend time with them. Like, for example, Rick Flag. People say, it wasn't necessary to be him here. But you know what? I spent time with him in Commandos, and the little small moments where he defended Superman, and even him saying, "I'm sorry, I'm have to do this."
Sorry, right?
That meant a lot to me. That meant a lot to me because I'm like, yo, this is about to go through a lot. Yeah, like that meant a lot to me, and also that look of like, okay, Flag, I guess you don't have to worry about metahumans anymore, do you? Now they're running the show. And that look of like conflict of like, man, this was not the way we were supposed to plan this out. But then again, cooler heads probably prevailed. It didn't prevail. And yeah, I mean, I think it's a bizarre setup with Ultraman cloning thing.
100%.
When I saw the long hair, I was like, and then in the space, I was like, okay, this is where we're going.
In the pocket dimension, there were blocks. It was cubes.
Yeah.
Cubes.
Yeah.
Hey, what if they make this Bizarro into Doomsday? Kidding.
No, please don't.
Come on,
again,
too soon.
Like, also, I mean, to me, I've seen the movie twice, and it's still nuts to me that like we got Metamorpho, we got Mr. Terrific, we got Guy Gardner. Like, I don't think people. I mean, we get this stuff, these movies and shows all the time now, so we probably take it for granted, subconsciously, not consciously. But like the fact that we got these three characters, I think speaks of volumes of the possibilities of this universe. And I'm gonna do a video in a few days of like what characters I want to see, and like I'm putting it out. I want to see, and I've told you guys before, I want to see Animal Man. I want to see these wire things that you can do so much. Wow, I almost got hit by a car.
To the Animal Man, so it was like, no.
Yeah,
Hell nah.
It was like, we gotta get rid of that.
Fucking happening.
I'm talking about Superman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, can we talk about
man.
the Justice Gang though? Because like that actually goes into some of my negatives too. Because I will agree. Again, you guys are making good points here, and I'm just gonna make this very, very clear. As much as saying I love this movie, I also agree this is not in James Gunn's top movies. Like he done better movies.
I agree.
Than this, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
It's easily his worst superhero movie. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
You count Super in that?
yeah.
Wait. Well, hold on, Phil. Do you count Super in that? Because
Not really, no.
okay.
Anyway, well, I'm saying with the Justice Gang, we're talking about there's too many characters and all this. Now, for me as a fan, like when I'm watching, going back to DC animation, they're just characters that are just appearing, but then you find out more about them later. And for me, it's like I felt that was for me that was a strength for you bringing in a bunch of different characters in. It's like I don't need to give you this full-on origin story how this person come to be. We can probably have some time and maybe the potential, but this character just to serve this plot in this story. And I felt some of the characters landed. Like obviously, Mr. Terrific again was a standout for me. Again, I'm so happy for the actor just getting his due. And also again, Mr. Terrific was also just a fantastic character in animation, like way better than the CW version, in my opinion.
Yeah,
but
he's actually competent here.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's the best character in the movie, if you ask me.
Right.
I would agree. Yeah.
I would not disagree with you there. But Guy, I thought he was gonna be too like stupid, whatever, like that. I felt it was just a good balance of him. But I think you won't get the effects of Guy when he's around other Green Lanterns. For me, so I'm not sold on him yet until I see him in Lanterns. Like I told you, Phil. Listen, I like this film. Okay, that's a plus. But it's make or break if Lanterns for me. If you don't get Jon Stewart right, fuck all of this.
Oh man,
that's just my personal opinion. I wait over 20 years for this dude to show up, and it's like you messed that up. No, but yes, and I don't want the Lantern show to have this fucking tone at all.
If you fuck Lanterns, pack it in
at all, because that's not Jon Stewart. Like, don't do that. But anyway, Hawk Girl. Isabel, I think she's a great actress. I think she's employed. She's in everything and everything.
As she should. Yeah.
As she should, right? And I would love her to get a good win in a comic book movie and stuff like that. I think this is the better version of what we got with her. That being said,
it's a step up from Madam Web. I'll give you that.
Yes.
Hard to do.
Said right, which is not really saying much. But I'll also agree with this that this is she didn't really add or take anything away from the movie. Is honestly, if she could cut out, I would have no issue. You know that she wasn't there. She was just there, and but the fact that she is there, then here goes back to nitpicking. Why is she fucking screaming like the damn butterflies from Peacemaker?
That got on my nerve.
You know, like, and then she was in the interview with CBR. Like, I was in a I jumped from Last of Us to this, and I was just in a harness and swinging around. I hope I didn't look stupid. I'm sorry, sweetheart. You did. I'm sorry. Like that, especially that shot when you come in to get the president, and we can tell you're on a harness, and then that fish camera look, and just like. It's like you're dangling from the fucking harnesses that you're in. I'm sorry. It's like I bet it just didn't. It just wasn't given. It wasn't given. The organic wings, were that coming through your jacket or out? Like where you still had your jacket on? Like your mallet. You know, and she keeps talking about, oh yeah, I would love to see a Green Lantern. You know, and John Stewart, Hawkgirl. I'm like, sweetheart, you're not even Shira. Like you're not like it. And then this is like her mallet wasn't having electric powers like how anything like that. It was just a mallet, like and all that stuff, whatever. It was just a weapon. I could take a leave with her. That's what it is. Metamorpho, I felt it was very for that actor. I think spoke very personal to him, and for me, I felt this is a step up from him from Victor Zsasz. Where like not saying he did a bad job as Victor Zsasz, I just felt like this was. For him, that spoke more to his personal life. You know, it's him struggling with alopecia and everything. It's like, honestly, I could not imagine myself any other way than I am right now. I felt Metamorpho really spoke to him, and I felt like his short time, even that he had his son there and everything, but just like there's also other dimensions to him. Like he's that character. If you read about him, like he's constantly in pain. Like he, him changing, morphing and stuff, and he, that's. For me, like also for me, I had grew up with a medical condition where it's like in my own skin, I felt very uncomfortable, but it's like you just get used to it. So there was layers there definitely to unpack, and like especially that shot of him walking away with this child, looking back at Lois, like, come on, like that was a great thing. But I was saying some of those characters, I felt I would rather have those characters cut. And push in again. And this is a Superman movie. You will have more fleshed out relationships with other characters in the Daily Planet. Like I really felt all the Justice Gang scenes could have been. I mean, Mr. Terrific could have still been here. He doesn't need part of Justice Gang. He just be who he is and serve the Superman story. But like other characters, they didn't have to be in there. And then you could push Jimmy more as a more supporting character. That dynamic with Perry White and just him calling him Chief. Like now, if you know the original Richard Donner Superman, he keep calling Perry Chief, like don't call me Chief. But then it's like, how about we see more of that? And then the moment of him, no, call me Perry, kid. I'm like, he's smiling, but I'm like, that was really short. I mean, it wasn't
too
like
quick in there. It was too quick, wasn't it?
It was too quick. It was no emotional weight for that.
I think Superman having more of a dynamic with Guy than Jimmy Olsen was a problem. Like I was not a fan of that, and I kind of, now that you mention it, I actually may agree. I may have cut the gang if it meant we could have more time with Clark and Lois, with Clark and Jimmy, with Clark and Perry.
The Daily Planet.
In
general.
I'll say though, it seems like Wendell Pierce is having a good year because he came right off Thunderbolts into this.
Yeah, he had more to do in Thunderbolts than he did here.
And I was watching Thunderbolts, and I was watching Thunderbolts, and I'm like,
the packets.
And I was like, is that?
And even like, I don't know if it's on purpose, but
I love you, Phil. I love you, man.
Super people.
Come on, man. Like, come on, dude. I don't disagree with you guys. The Daily Planet, everything was completely underserved in this.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started on the whole Jimmy Olsen. Like, okay, you know what?
We'll get into it.
I'll get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah.
I've said numerous times, I don't give a fuck about Jimmy Olsen. He is like one of my. And when it comes to Superman, he's not a make or break character for me. I could give a rat's ass about Jimmy Olsen, but here's a caveat: I actually really like the relationship they have in My Adventures with Superman. I think that's a great look at their relationship. Here, it's fucking flicking the fucking newspapers at each other. Like, okay, fucking whatever. The fact that Jimmy Olsen in this movie is a pussy man. I was like,
Ooh.
okay, that's a choice.
It's different.
Wingman.
You want to do something different with Jimmy Olsen? Okay, fine. Do something different with Jimmy Olsen.
To their credit,
Fine.
I think he's a pretty outdated character. Like I think he's been that for a while.
Well, here's the thing, right? Like we live in a world where professional photography has vastly evolved and gotten so much better. You could have done that. You could have made him the ace photographer of Daily Planet, but you made him not only a hound. The crux and climax of this plot is contingent on text messages sent from Eve Tessmacher to Jimmy Olsen by way of slightly nude photos.
Yeah,
and their cheating relationship because she's not happy. Like, that was like just I kept whispering like, what the fuck to myself on more than one occasion with that.
That felt a little contrived.
I really dislike the scene where it's like, oh, so if we do this, can we hang out this week? He's like, well,
it was awkward.
Yes,
so awkward. It was just like
that made him so unlikable to me. And like, I love Jimmy Olsen, and I'm like, what? He's in a dangerous situation. Just do anything to get her out of here. Like, and like, then we can discuss if that's something you want to move forward with. To get her out of the situation first.
To take it a step further, his nickname for her in his cell phone.
Oh, I didn't even see it.
Yep.
Dude.
I didn't see it.
So like there's a lot of stupid fucking shit in this movie, okay? Between the dumb fucking monkeys in the pocket dimension, between
I like that.
I like
I had thoughts on that.
Guy Gardner's goofy fucking look and tone, like
the fucking middle finger constructs.
How not only just one, Jake, numerous middle fingers, because
a lot of them.
James Gunn has to James Gunn no matter fucking what. Okay, no, the absolute dumbest fucking shit in this movie was having Jimmy Olsen have Eve Tessmacher's name in his phone as Mutant Toes. And I say that's fucking stupid because I used to do stupid shit like that in high school. It is by and far some of the most.
You don't do it now?
Sophomore. No, I don't. I don't do that. I respect women. I'm like, anyway. I looked at that and I was like, I thought 17-year-old me thought that would have been funny, but you are clearly trying to get the widest audience possible. And I don't doubt one bit that 16 and 17-year-old boys are looking at that going,
oh yeah.
Yes. People were laughing. They were eating that shit up. They were eating that shit up.
I'm sure they were.
Yeah.
Like, and now listen, the actor, I really think he's great.
He's a perfect casting.
I think perfect casting. You see him Righteous Gemstones is the same amount of humor because he played that exact same character. But I think again, I would want better writing for him because I want to know him personally. And stuff. But now I don't need a fucking Jimmy Olsen show. I don't need a Jimmy Olsen show.
I want you to say that one more time. You want better what?
I don't want a Jimmy Olsen show.
No. You want better what?
Writing.
I know where this is going.
I write it on that character. Listen, hey, I'm not one of these. Again, this is going to another argument about this film. Listen, to people that love this film, don't be a victim of your own success of as a fan having a great DC film that is critically and hopefully financially, because we're seeing the numbers, and then only to just become the very villain that you complain about for the last 2 or 3 years with the Snyder side. Yeah. And I've reposted it, like people and other friends of my content creators are like, listen, even though I'm a Zack Snyder defender, and even though I like this movie, can we please, like, you guys who like this movie, just don't be hypocritical and call everyone saying you're just a Snyder lover, and just because you giving this film constructive criticism about the dialogue didn't work for you, the humor did not work for you, and like have valid criticism, and I can see what they're talking about because you're doing the exact same thing the Snyder people are doing. Yeah. Then what's going to happen is that that we're the group that we're just having smoke up our asses and just saying, everything's all sunshine and rainbows. No, it's not. Is this a win? Absolutely, it's a win. But I'm saying you can ruin all of that if you not understand, like, there is room for this to grow. So
improvement.
So for people that wanted to love this movie and didn't, and there's a lot of people who wanted to like this movie, and like, I just didn't. and that is perfectly fine.
That's
And
fine.
but they need to take the constructive criticism, which I'm aware that James Gunn, he listens, but sometimes again he's gonna do what the hell we want to do. But he does take constructive criticism sometimes. I feel he needs to, as a not just as a director, writer, but if you're overseeing an entire studio, that also understand that maybe the best person to handle a certain property may not be myself, you know. And so if it does come, he doesn't direct Justice League and stuff like that, have somebody who can probably do it and won't be like, oh, it must be me, so I can make sure this gets right. And I don't believe he's that person, but I'm just saying, this film invites destructive criticism, which is why I love this conversation right here. The writing on certain characters I did not like Jimmy definitely could have been better. The women characters, aside from Lois Lane, the female characters, which I had a conversation with somebody here. Damn.
What the hell?
What
happened? What's happening?
What's happening with Phil?
His lights are going nuts.
He's having a rave in there.
I put epilepsy warning.
My mom tried to call me just a little bit ago. I thought something was wrong. I just wanted to mention this, and she had no idea I was live streaming. She's like, "Hey, I was like, something wrong?" Because she never called me at 9:00 at night. She's like, "No, we just saw Superman in IMAX. We really liked it." I'm like, "Oh,
Awesome.
okay." So I was like, I'll let them know. And she's like, yeah, we really like the IMAX format. I'm like, yeah, it's more expensive, you know, but
there you go.
Can I say it's making me happy how it seems like this movie's doing very well, right? Like we spent
already made 96 million worldwide.
Yeah, man.
So
like no matter how you feel about this movie, this being successful is good for everybody.
Yeah.
Like we were so terrified it wouldn't do well.
Right.
Yeah,
Because now it like was saying, it invites like okay, what would he get? What did we get right? What didn't we get fully right? And what can we improve on? Because if this would have done bad, I think it would have been very reactive, like eject button, emergency button, and that's the last thing we want to do again. It's just like no.
Because that's the fear. Because if this movie would have because they're saying they need at least 500 million. They're saying to be somewhat happy with the product overall.
I think they'll get that.
They will. But my response to that is, okay, if we would have gotten less than that, does that mean that, like, presumably we're not getting anything past this point?
No.
I'll say this too, just to hit on Darren's point that he brought up, is like, this being successful in it, attracting a lot of people. Whether you're somebody that likes this film, or whether you're somebody that doesn't, I even said this in the Discord earlier today. I said, at the end of the day, this wasn't all the way for me, or parts I liked, but after one experience, maybe I'll watch it again. But after one experience, it wasn't for me. But this is going to be a lot of kids that are growing up right now, their first time seeing Superman on the big screen. And
it's
if that in turn makes them a fan of the character, then great. Fantastic. It gets them more into that universe, and it wants them to see more of their characters, because all of us here, like these characters that are coming, or at least the big ones that have been adapted multiple times, we all have our versions of these characters that we like and that we hold on to, and we don't have to compare them to those other ones because we've already got them. Now we can just take what's here in front of us, and either we like it or we don't. But I think this movie is really going to help garner some of the younger fans and get them more exposed to DC, because people that were growing up 10 years back, it wasn't really grasping them, and it's starting to do that again here. So if nothing else, I appreciate that.
You know what? As I was getting off work, I bumped into this family that were buying their kid a Superman toy of like the collection of all the heroes. And I saw that, and I'm like, and they mentioned like, oh, we're about to go see Superman. And the kid's like, yeah. And I'm like, you guys are going to dig it. And like, have you seen it? I'm like, yeah, I saw it twice. And like, really? How is it? I'm like, you guys are going to have fun. He's going to have fun. And then I told him, like, and not just that, you're going to appreciate this film's going to make you appreciate the character Superman, and you're going to want to learn more about the other characters. And the kid kept pointing, like, which one? And I just said, Mr. Terrific. They're like, okay.
And I think, like, also, like, this has something that the MCU has been kind of struggling with for a while, where it's like anyone can see it, right? Like, with the MCU, there's been this barrier to entry for a while, and we can argue if that's true or not, and whatever.
Absolutely.
But, like,
absolutely.
But that is still a thing. Where it's saying, well, I haven't seen the last 20 MCU movies, so I'm not going to go see this one. This is a starting point, and again, that's why I've been saying that he is a genius in the way where it's like, I want each one to feel separate and alone and kind of on their little islands. And I think hopefully that will be successful for them going forward. Now, I'm going to be fascinated to see how they approach like a Justice League, right? Are people going to be able to watch like a Justice League or even like a Superman 2 where it's like, oh, but Supergirl's in here and blah, 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 stuff like that's going to be interesting.
Right.
But right now, I think one of the reasons it's doing so well is because everyone is seeing it. I have family members who don't watch superhero movies like, hi, Superman, I guess I'll go see this. It's like, whoa, really? All right. Have
and
fun.
the marketing of this has been great. Like, come on now, I got prayer flat. Like fans, come on, like church fans, like come on.
There has to be that perfect balance of, if they're really trying to do it standalone, but make it feel like all the things will matter in the long run. There has to be that thing. It's like, okay, this can stand on its own, but it's all a part of a thing. Exhibit A, those 10-verse things. Like, you can watch the Justice League animated series without watching Batman animated series or Superman animated series. You get more from it, but you don't need those to go into it. But you definitely get more, and at the end of the day, it's more rewarding. But for people that are just trying to get into it, you don't need to do and I hate the way this term is being used, homework, but you don't have to do that. So hopefully they strike that same sort of balance here.
Well, we all need to do homework when it's around him. What's up, Draven?
Yeah, baby. Come on.
He finally saw it.
The more the merrier.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. So is it a 20 out of 10 for you?
No, I said it's a 9 out of 10.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah, he did the same.
Hell yeah.
I'm
Did
tired.
you stand up
bro.
and clap at any point, or
No. I stand up and I took my pants off and started. No, never mind.
He did a helicopter spin.
Oh, thank you, David.
It took his pants off and he had it. ChatGPT write his review for it.
I sent you a link, Ray, if you want to jump in.
Oh, hey, Ray.
If you want to jump in.
But going on to the criticism, I know we talked about more of this. How did you guys feel? Now, this is not going to I don't want to say political question, but like when the whole immigrant comment came, a lot of people, was having up in arms about it. And with my third viewing today, I was sitting next to a group of people, which you can kind of tell which way they were leaning. It was on the right side. They took one of Jake's hats and everything. Well, actually, they had one of them.
Darren's wearing the red hat.
Well, he has the hat, but he has a lot of hats, but he's not wearing one of them. But I'll just say, not the X-Men one. I'm saying I watched this particular couple who are older, probably giving 60s, and watching how both of them were enjoying themselves, right? And I'm just sitting here like, oh, this is my third time. Like, what you guys like? Like, yeah, like the dog. Like, we have a dog. We have a rescue dog. It's great. And then I was like, how do you feel about the immigrant thing? I was like, I'm gonna tell you this, like. That I was about to hate on this because like that I don't like when you try to preach and either become too preachy. They didn't want to say because they're talking to a black guy here, so they was like it was too, messaging and all that. But like this was good. This was I had nothing to worry about with this film. I was like, yeah, I agree. And I said I felt this movie was more American than Captain America 4. In my opinion, I felt this movie was more patriotic than the Captain America 4. And
that's the thing is like this movie actually took a stance, right? Like Cat 4 was like,
for better for worse,
saying anything.
For better for worse,
they were very safe.
Oh, okay. You took a stance, and I love that.
They took a stance,
right? Cat 4 was a very safe movie.
Yeah.
I think that was the smartest move. And that the whole entire scene with Lois interviewing Superman, it sets the tone for where we're heading because he's like, well, why were you doing this? Like, I wasn't doing this for the government. I'm doing this for myself because people were going to die. And I understand if you're like, well, the viewpoint's like, but he's thinking about the world. Like, he doesn't want conflict. He doesn't want this to happen in the world. He doesn't care where you land. And I always bring this up. Fucking Superman and Lois. He goes to North Korea and helps a submarine from sinking. And that causes a whole shitstorm. Well, because that's who Superman is.
Yeah.
He's supposed to do that. He doesn't care what political. Now, obviously, that dives in the whole thing about the what was it called? Lutheria or whatever the fuck. Like, that's a whole subplot nonsense. Like, you created a pocket university. What the fuck? Why are you want to roll the country? Anyways,
Ego.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, that's why he really did it. He didn't care about where the government feels or how, like, what. It doesn't matter. people were going to die, and he stepped up.
He could save them, so he did.
And that's what he did. He doesn't care. And I'm glad that at least in this movie, it's obviously a big talking point, and it's a story point. Sure, you could argue, but there's better stories they could have told. But this sets the tone for the DCU. That Superman doesn't care what political side or what side of the aisle you sit. He doesn't fucking care. He's going to step up for everybody, stand up for everybody. Not everybody's going to feel that way. Guy Gardner doesn't give a shit.
Right.
He only showed up because they all pretty much pestered him to go in there and stopping that whole thing. Yeah. But this is where we're standing at. And I think we're going to see a lot more politics in the DCU because this is the first film. We waited till phase 3 to really dive into politics of the MCU.
Look at Creatures, look at Peacemaker, look at Guardians. Like he has never been afraid to he
even Luthor, were you not getting President Luthor vibes when he was in the office? Like I was like, and he had the flags right behind him. And again, this sets the stage of him coming back and trying to run for office. Like, guys, I know I've done so bad before. And
he's not done. Yeah. I think
I saw the movie with someone and they mentioned, when we're talking about the two countries, it's like, I didn't know that, I'm not gonna say the names, but like I didn't know this and this was happening in the DC universe. And I was like, whether it's timing or whatever, I'm like, it hits home.
It's relevant.
Like, art has a way of reflecting itself too. But like even now, like Superman talking to the United Nations, like there's been plenty of times in animation he done that, and stuff. So it's like I when that moment
that's probably going to happen
for Justice League, definitely, definitely,
it's going to happen.
There again, to be to keep it not too stingy on it, but someone was calling out this movie who played Superman at one point and was saying, it's doing this and this and this. And then, again, the very few times the internet gets it right, people kept throwing back clips of him
saying it.
Of him. Yeah.
And bring up stuff. And it's just like, and I was like, wow.
He'll argue context. He'll argue that he's just playing a role and whatever. It's like, but yeah,
live action Bizarro.
That's your Superman, bro. That's you, man.
You know what's funny? Like, in that Peacemaker scene when it's happening, I was like, why would they get him to do this interview? He knows nothing. He is a dummy. And then I was like, Dean Cain literally just fucking did it. It is a realistic scene. God damn it. They get
to the point. Yeah.
These guys get idiots all the time that know nothing to be like, give us your insight, give us your time. I was like, God damn it, that is accurate. All right.
Yeah. And to Chainsaw's point there, when they were doing the whole, Clark and Lois interview, like where she's interviewing Superman, one element that did stand out to me is how, even though he's not in costume, he's just there, talking as he is. And pretty seamlessly, he's able to just switch between the Superman that's answering the questions and the Clark that gets a little rattled. And it's like, wait, why are you asking that? That's not official. I'm not supposed to tell anybody that. And then he puts the face back on all pretty seamlessly in that one scene and is able to switch back and forth. So I got to give him credit there.
There's even times too where he's talking as Superman, but his facial features this is Clark, and he's just frustrated. But it's because he I don't know why he wasn't thinking this through. Lois is going to ask you questions you don't want to answer. Like, you knew that going into this. You know how she acts.
She's a great journalist. And then that relation dynamic was too. Like, Superman don't have time for selfies.
That is awesome.
The Kane is still bad. Oh my God.
Okay. That is awesome.
That's good.
That's good. That has given me pen is mightier than the sword flashbacks.
I can tell you right now, based on his comments of what he's saying now, he's definitely not going to be invited to another Superman panel for sure. Or he's definitely not going to be welcomed. Let's say that.
Or DC related project.
Well, not even that, but like when they did like a Superman panel where they got a bunch of Superman actors.
Yeah, they had all of them except for Henry.
That's not happening. Not with him again. I don't think.
No.
Can I also add that moment with Lois and Clark and Superman, that interview and that tension, the back and forth ideology, y'all, maybe we are too far, maybe we're not too far from having that similar conversation or similar dynamic later on with Superman and another heroic character.
But yes, because this thing, they don't have to fight each other. It's just talking. It's like, I'm not Superman.
100% world's finest. That's gonna happen.
With this type of Superman, how he gonna react to certain things, and it's like you see that dynamic when he's talking with Guy. I was like, but what does he do that when he with Batman with Bruce? And it's like,
dude, even the moment with Mr. Terrific saying, "I'm sorry, Clark," like those guys wouldn't lie. Like, I'm telling y'all, those small moments of him, calling him Clark, of like, I wish it wasn't this way, man, but that sounds accurate, dude. And the whole thing of like, so you weren't gonna help, huh? He's like, I just did this to piss off Guy Gardner, just like, oh. And again, talking about moments that just hit. I mean, and again, it should have.
But like, Phil, do you honestly think he was not going to interfere and get Superman out of there? Like, I'm only doing this so I can piss Green Lantern off. You honestly think that's what he was trying to do? Like, I just don't like the way it was written. You had a perfect opportunity for Mr. Terrific to kind of defect from them and be like, yeah, no. He's our friend. He needs fucking help. But no, we just had to go the extra mile and be like, nope, doing this to piss off Guy Gardner.
Right? Like you could just say,
it's his machismo.
It's fucking stupid, dude. Because it's right.
No, it's just another example of James Gunn doing the funny James Gunn thing, and it's fucking stupid. I get it. People think it's funny. People like it. People give James Gunn a pass for fucking everything, dude.
But here's the thing. I didn't even laugh at that. I was just like, hey, that's his own sort of way of saying, like, I got his back. Because, again, they don't, even when he arrives, all right, give me the skinny. What's up? What's happening with this kaiju? And again, to echo some stuff, maybe not written, could have been written better. To me, the part that in the movie that really got me going, fuck, man, they really did that, was when they killed the guy in the cube.
Yeah.
And the guy saying, don't tell him, Superman, like, you did so much for us, like, let me go. And he shoots him. And Superman just starts out this laughter and another laughter, a cry and yell of like, and then I didn't think it was gonna go that fast. That I would have taken off completely. And my second view was like, that wasn't necessary, but that still made an impact on me of like, fuck.
Yeah.
They just killed off the one civilian that helped them get up. And that had weight to me. For me, that had weight to me, and that meant a lot to me.
That was the one moment in the entire movie where you could probably point at Lex and be like, "Yeah, that's probably about as Lex Luthor as it's gonna get." It's like Kevin Spacey in Superman Returns, where he goes, "No!" It's about on par with that.
Yeah, probably.
And I love even when Metamorpho he started getting emotional of like, I just let that guy die, and Superman correct him. His name was forgive me, I forgot your name. And I even again some stuff goes back and hits good when the newspaper opens up and you see Metropolis Civilian Hero in the front page, and I'm like, that has to amount for something. That has to count for something. Mm-hmm. And I again, some stuff could have been stronger, but that doesn't take away the impact it made on me, because I was like, first time that happened, I was just like, fuck, man.
I like how real that felt, right? Because that trope in media of like, oh, it goes for 10 times and it finally, it's like oh shit, all right, I guess he's dead now, So like I liked the like weight of that. I feel like maybe that weight could have been felt a little longer. Like they kind of zoomed past it kind of quickly, but like I kind of wish there was a little bit of that impact. And I think like that is ultimately some of my dislike of some of this movie. Like I like there are some really great concepts in here that I wish were like focused in on a bit more. Like I think the whole part of like the world hating Superman and Lex turning the world against him, I thought was a really cool like plot line, but they kind of brush over it a little bit. Like the whole bit of like I really didn't like the monkeys, right? Because like I thought it was like, okay, this is like Lex is petty enough to do this. That's very Lex Luthor of him. But also it's like I think that kind of lifts the weight off of, oh no, people actually do hate Superman, right? Like there are a very large group of people that would hate him because he is an immigrant and people can't trust him and he's not worthy. So I think the fact that it was like, oh, it was Lex Luthor the whole time, just trying to make him look bad. It's like, I would have liked to actually have seen the real people's reaction to.
Because that would add to the.
We did though. There was in the news anchoring where it's like, "Hey, I used to trust Superman all the time, but now
but that's news." I guess I wanted to see the like everyday person's reaction.
Well, I mean, when the news broke, the little girl just like kind of take a steps back and like just.
I guess
the mom pulled her off, like
which I felt that I'm like, oh no.
I wanted,
and then the dude's like, "This can't be real, can it?"
Yeah,
like this has got to be BS. So it's like
I laughed. I gotta be honest. That was the only time I laughed. I was the only one who laughed at that reveal because I was again like I thought to myself like nerds are either gonna give him hell for this or they're gonna give him a pass for this. Like making Superman's parents send him there to conquer and having that be the thing, and like even Superman be like, no, it's bullshit. Mr. Terrific's like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
Like that was the one time I audibly like laughed out loud. No one else did. Of course I did though because I'm a cynical son of a bitch. But it was the one time I laughed. You know,
give him a pass for what though? It is
give him a pass for making such a fundamental change to the core of who Superman is, and his parents' message of sending him there to begin with.
Question.
No. Okay. It's been done in like one fucking comic book.
I'd argue it doesn't change Clark though. Like, yes, it changes his parents, sure, but I think. At least how I took that.
Also the point of his parents, the outfits that Bradley Cooper and the lady wore looked cheap as fuck. Looked ugly, looked cheap, uninspired, fucking lame. Nitpick more than anything for sure, but
I would say that's more nitpicky. Yeah.
This looks cheap. Like the forces looked fine, but they look cheap. I'll say that.
My question is, do you think they're going to say this is like a misinterpretation based on the language? Because but here's the reason why I'm asking that question.
I'm glad
they said. Well, the reason why I'm asking specifically because they say in the film that they had like 20 plus different experts confirming the dialogue. How the fuck do they know Kryptonian dialogue?
Yeah.
I'll do you one better. Do one better. How the fuck were these robots who work for Superman can't decode this message and they're around Kryptonian technology 24/7, but an engineer made with man-made human technology has absolutely no problem decoding this message.
Does it immediately?
Yeah. So
not only that, but to your point of like, is this a thing that can be doctored, redacted, updated?
I think it can be.
And my answer to that is, I don't fucking care because the context isn't present yet. As the movie as it is right now, that is a change to who Superman is, or rather, you know, the overall lore. It's a lore change to Superman that I guarantee you, had any other director dared do that in a live action Superman movie, they would get dragged through the fucking mud for it.
Because we've seen what happens when directors make changes to Superman's origin.
Yeah, maybe Gunn gets a fucking pass no matter what he does.
So I'm not giving the pass because he's James Gunn. I'm not even giving a pass. I'm just saying like that's I've said it when I got here. I'm still interpreting that. I don't know how I still feel about that. Yeah. I'm still mixed on that. But what the movie does accomplish is just like, okay, we spend time with, okay, that's your biological parents.
Yeah.
Who did you grow up with? Who made you?
Yeah.
Why are you the way you are? Because sure, you have that message. You've been telling yourself that this is why that holds more deal more than anything else. But you go back home, and your foster parents welcome you like anything. And I there's that line of Jonathan, like, I couldn't be more prouder of you than that. And like you see that earnestness, you see that thing of even then just checking in. I'm like, hey, don't be a stranger.
Don't be a stranger. It adds another element for parenting because again, this is also talking about for as a person, the fact I am who I am because of my choices or I am because of my upbringing where I came from. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm coming from again, I am early stage in my career. I'm using the foundation of what my birth parents is telling me and saying like, no, I have a duty, I have a mandate. And some of us we put my family were engineers, so I gotta be an engineer, and that's my life. My dad was a firefighter, so I gotta be a firefighter and do all this stuff. But that's not what you're meant to do. But then the thing at the end of the movie, when you had say, "Hey, you want to play your parents' message?" Like, yes, go ahead. And how welcoming was the kid because it wasn't about the fact of his alien nature that made him who he was. It was his humanity, even though he is an alien. And that moment of the fact of this, the comment about, oh yeah, go ahead, make these people are weak. We can feel they don't know better of themselves and stuff like that. They're weak-minded, these humans, and frail, whatever. They don't know how to, they're dumb. Is what anything they said was a lie? No. And then not only that, will it not justify when another Kryptonian comes back, comes to Earth, like, hey, you're not living your Kryptonian heritage. I'm gonna conquer, and they need to kneel before me. Like, come on, like that's
wow. I feel like I've heard this before. Oh wait, Dragon Ball Z when Raditz comes to Earth and fucking fights Goku.
You guys are raised
He's out. He's fucking out.
But here's the thing, that like,
Wow.
Someone put that.
oh please,
Just that.
I look like he's frozen. He's just
and
frozen.
Yeah, no.
and here's the thing: people could say that feels like, oh, he's done that before, you know, with Yondu and Ego, but then again, maybe that's something he wants to keep on. That even you could take that with an alien that nobody really knew before those movies came out, and now someone put in that same scenario.
He's
I know.
frozen, yeah.
I love, you know, again, to me, the fact that he was sent here, that doesn't break the canon. That doesn't damage at all. Like, again, you could shake that up, and it's still left to interpretation and whatnot. But to me, I think that is a monkey in the wrench, but it doesn't break down doesn't break down the car.
No, and Ronan, to your point there, it shouldn't, because, you know, regardless, I'll say this, regardless of whatever message his parents send him from Krypton, and I'm not talking about just this, whatever continuity you're going with, he was still raised on a farm, raised by kind-hearted people, taught to be a good person and do the right thing. So that shouldn't change him.
Yeah.
No, it's just that the people are like, well, we trusted this guy. He's been Superman for 3 years. And now this comes out. I really do think it is a misinterpretation, because I'm pretty sure what the intent was versus what they're in concluding is presumably all of us are dead. So we're not asked so essentially you're going to be potentially continuing the legacy of our entire race. So just I think there's something like that is involved.
Don't make our mistakes. Don't make the same mistakes we did.
Possibly, but the thing is, this whole interpretation of like, well, experts listen to it, but how do they know Kryptonian language? Did Superman like hand over Kryptonian like text and go,
here's a dictionary?
Yeah, I don't think that happened.
Yeah.
I think they're interpreting based off other languages and then assuming that, because I doubt that Clark has anything physical for the language, and no one's ever seen this message before until now. So that's where my question is, and I really hope that James thought this through, that this was to be brought up later.
It's also not the first time we've done, like, My Adventures just did this story where like Clark thought,
but it wasn't his father. You find out that it was not his father. It was a rogue Kryptonian that did it.
Yes.
That's
okay.
fair.
So
I guess that's fair.
Here's what I'll say. If there was not a Supergirl movie where we will actually probably likely see the intentions of Krypton before Krypton blew up, there is a much stronger case to probably say, like, no, this is the new continuity going forward for this live action version of Superman. There is opportunity for it to be retconned or whatever the fuck, or have it be a different message, or, you know, whatever. Yeah. But as it stands right now, the movie is the movie. This is what we're presented. Yeah. And no knock to Chainsaw. I've seen other people fucking bring this up, like, oh, you know, it's probably been doctored. It's probably a different thing. Da 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 da. And I'm like, oh, that's a really great way of hand waving what's actually present in the movie. Good job. You want to just fucking ignore it and be like, no. It can't be. It's like, no, you guys are literally being Superman in that moment. Like, even Mr. Terrific's like, bro, it's legit. Like, that is a legitimate message from your fucking parents. But how the engineer was able to decipher it, I still can't fucking wrap my mind around. But
we'll probably get some of the Krypton stuff in Supergirl, because like the thing that makes her different than Clark is she witnessed it all go down. She witnessed Krypton die, and that's where a lot of her edge and her jadedness comes in. Is that she saw that entire planet go down.
Y'all had me crashing out. I'm sorry.
So
I had to go
still has that memory. So
I had to check my blood sugar. No, my internet cut off. Okay.
No.
As I backed out of the got out of the chair and unplugged my router right behind my so that's what
I thought Mike just got up and punched his computer.
Something.
I thought for sure, like, I made you.
No, I wouldn't do that. No, I love y'all. My temper's good.
And I do want to make the point too. I'm not like dismissing this. Like, I think it's fair that Phil brought up, like, you know, there are people that are like addressing this, like trying to pretend like, oh, this is like whatever. I've accepted the fact this is where we're at right now. I just think I think at some point they may address this as a misinterpretation, but it's a choice. Is it the right choice? Probably not. But then after this goes down, you have Pa Kent, which I think is, to me, the best scene in the whole film.
Yeah.
Say, as parents, and he's talking about, like, you know, we raised you. Like, sure, you had biological parents, but we raised you.
That was like the best thing written in the movie. Was Pa Kent and Clark. Easily.
And that whole scene is fantastic. And I think that's what I'm trying to tell him is, like, Clark, Yes, you are biologically Kryptonian. You're from another planet. However, we raised you.
You know what it
Like,
reminded me of?
you
You know what that conversation reminded me of?
Oh
The-
boy.
the-
Your
the
conversation
se-
with me?
There's that, but also the seminal moments between George Clooney and Michael Goff in Batman and Robin.
Okay. All right. So, but I think the point about
Phil,
this.
did you not say that this thing reminding you of Batman and Robin was a bad thing?
Well,
That's
yes.
a pull.
I mean, tonally and even almost structurally, and even some of the characters are. It's almost a Batman and Robin clone. I mean, Lex Luthor is over the top and hammy and ridiculous, like Mr. Freeze. You have Ultraman, who's just big dumb muscle who hardly says a fucking word. And then you've got the engineer, who's the only one of the three villains who understands the assignment completely and looks halfway decent and knows full well what she's fucking doing half.
Poison Ivy.
Well, at
Bingo.
least, right? I mean, at least no one has nipple
Oh, and then
costumes or ice
to
skates.
cap it all off, you have the main character making dumb, stupid quips every 10 minutes.
Stop.
I mean, no one has nipple costumes or ice skates, so it could
No.
be worse.
No,
Or a credit card.
He's
Nobody's
reacting.
got
Or
a
a credit
dog.
card. Don't even.
I
Like,
wanna
come
see
on.
it.
If Superman had a credit
got
card,
a
this would be a
dog.
10
This is tall. This is gaslighting at its
And,
finest.
and
y'all.
again,
Oh.
another moment of like when Superman like stops the engineer from him, like you don't have to do this. There's still time for you to like make up for this. Like that's another thing that count for something of like even this dude when he's being beat up by this antagonist, he's just like stop. This is Luthor. This is not you. And then but then again, hearing that she was like she volunteered for this, just like man, what the hell happened to you before all this?
Is this true? In Smallville, was it?
I
Yeah,
think so.
yeah.
But
Oh,
I think it was a
yeah.
misinterpretation, wasn't it?
James was copying that shit too. Fucking.
Look at Mike. Mike
Thank
Tyler,
you.
man.
That's what I'm saying. It was in season 2 of Smallville. I'm saying Sam was right next to me, like, yo, you know they did this shit in Smallville. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Come on.
Hey, Mike,
Seeing James unoriginal.
Smallville sucks.
No, but can we just also take
not doing
Someone's
this
ears are
again, Phil.
burning right
We're
now.
not doing it again.
I have a
Wrong
question.
stream. Wrong
He's just-
stream.
I'm just saying,
That's
can
what
it just
comes out
be
of his-
for the fact that it's also saying, you know what? We're not going to have Superman be who he is because what his parent says.
Yeah,
Whether
I
it's
like that.
whether it's human parent nor his Kryptonian parent, you are Superman because of what you decide to do.
You choose.
Right.
You are more than
Is
what you were
Smallville a
destined to be.
CW show?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
it was
yeah.
the CW show.
So
It
it's
was
not-
CW before the
is
CW was the
Is it good
CW.
or bad?
Yeah.
10 seasons. Great.
Depending who you ask. Some
Yeah,
are
Yeah.
good,
the
some are
beginning of the
trash.
show is rough. It gets better, but it's hard to get.
But
to
it's
that
on
first season.
CW though. Like
Yes.
those
It
shows
should
all
have ended
cut.
after season 7.
You-
Not
It had an
Draven,
impact on a lot of
Darren,
people
go
of our
fight him right now.
generation.
Darren, you beat the shit out of him right now.
I only like the football show. That's it. I haven't watched the other
All
ones.
American.
uh,
I like the football show.
Maybe I'll have to watch the Smallville or whatever it is.
Good luck.
watch
Probably
Superman
not.
and Lois instead. I
Yeah,
think
watch,
you'll
watch
like that
Superman
one
Superman
way
and
more.
Lois.
That's a
I
better.
need to
Yeah,
catch up
that
on
was
that.
way
Superman and
better.
Lois.
Just
Way
skip
better.
season 1.
Fuck you,
Phil?
Phil.
I'm
Fuck
gonna
you,
jump
Phil.
out of my chair next,
Alright.
Phil.
Someone said
Darren's gonna fight
I was gonna say-
everybody.
I'll be next.
I was gonna say,
Darren's
me
fighting
and Darren are
everybody.
about to fly out of our chairs.
someone who
I'll start
someone
season
who-
2 tonight.
Someone who I'm friends with.
He's
and
gonna
I,
start season 2.
Darren's
come on,
gonna Darren's gonna fight Draven. He's gonna fight Phil. He's gonna fight my wife over the Grinch. He's gonna fight everybody.
Jake,
Damn.
Darren, I asked this to y'all and anybody else who's seen all of Superman and Lois or a big part of it.
Yes.
Someone who's a friend of mine who I
Spoiler.
consider family said that they feel that they still have to wait to see where this character go, but they still prefer Superman and Lois over this movie. But
Fair.
when they pose them, season 1 of Superman and Lois or this movie, they prefer the movie. Where do you guys stand on that?
Wait, what was
Season
the
1 is
question?
one of my favorite seasons.
I still
of TV
I still
ever.
consider the show overall a better experience because you have way more
Right.
story. Like they had what 15 episodes season 1,
Yeah.
so that's
I
a
think
lot
so.
more.
That's my
It-
favorite
it-
season.
It might
so-
be better to say this movie versus the pilot of that show. Maybe that's a fair comparison.
Okay.
I
But
still
it's
like
like
the
an
pilot
hour.
more.
I mean, the pilot is
Okay, so
great.
is
That's
the
my
question
favorite
this
episode
movie
of the
or
show.
Superman and Lois?
Yes.
No,
That's
the
close,
the
Darren.
season 1 of Superman and Lois or this
Mine was
movie.
11, Darren.
God damn it. I will give it to Superman and Lois because I like that cast more than this cast.
Fair.
Damn.
Hey, Phil,
Fair.
I have a
Fair,
question.
that's
for you,
fair.
Phil.
That's fair.
And also only because Superman and Lois does something that I want to see with the character in a movie, and that's make Superman a dad. So I will give it to
Okay.
that for that reason.
And,
I really hope
and
that happens.
I
and I
recommend-
won't ruin this unless he eventually sees it. But what they do with Walt Parks' character in that season and in that whole show was
Yes.
pretty fucking awesome.
Okay.
I
Sure.
even recommend just the first 5 minutes. Like if you just want like
All right, I'll
little
watch the first 5
taste
minutes
of
and be done.
Superman, of just like, should I watch this? Watch that first 5 and be
Hey,
like, okay.
Phil, I have a
Okay.
question for you.
He's not
As
here.
soon as you leave.
Well, before we get to that question,
Oh man.
what's up, Rhea?
Hey, Rhea.
Hi, Rhea.
Yeah.
Hey y'all, how are y'all doing?
Doing good.
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 Yeah, I'm good, but I'm tired. It's 3:00 in the morning. So.
Everyone talked at once.
Yeah. What was your overall thoughts, Rhea? I haven't heard them. So, what is your overall thoughts on the movie?
Yeah, I want to give the movie some credit for what I think they attempted to tell as far as story wise. Like, I think y'all touched on it. Clark is not innately part of this world, but he is, a part of this world, if that makes sense. And he kind of has to realize that for himself and not let the world other him as much as Lex is, working so hard to do. And even with without the support necessarily of his friends in the JLI, or even when the world is so easy to turncoat against him having to push through that and still, protect everyone and still see every life as worth saving. I thought that was cool. I liked
Bless
how
you.
Sorry.
Damn it, we missed it.
Yeah, I think just finding your place in the world and learning how to connect with people, that was one of the first things I kind of picked up on in my first viewing. Lois being closed off, saying yeah, I knew this was never going to work, I'm not good at dating, or I'm not good at relationships, and I'm just yes, girl, speak your truth. He shouldn't have broken into your house anyway. Literally, I was triggered by that too, and a lot of people were like, no, they're a couple, they have keys to each other's apartments, and I'm just 3 months in, come on now.
That's a red flag, because one of my exes gave me a key to her apartment 3 weeks into us dating.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm just
Yeah,
You
that-
want to marry?
Notice how you
wanted
said
Mr.
ex?
Oh no,
Phil.
we broke up 2 months later. Red flag.
I'm
Red flag.
married. I'm married to the person that had my keys the first 3 months. Man, it's not
Yeah, me too.
when you got the right one, it's
Sure.
come
Yeah,
on.
But
Clearly-
no, this is Lois who wasn't sold on him to begin with, because I'm I know sis didn't give him his ass a
Shit, she
key.
almost fucking broke up with him too.
Some
Yeah.
superhuman dude who could just bust through her door at any moment. Why would she give him the easiest way to get
Yeah.
in? But anyway, so I liked her a lot. She's not the most trusting or open hearted person. She's she talked about her background a little bit and why that is, and yeah, I like that. It kind of took her on her own little journey to kind of realize how much she cared about Clark, and really just going above and beyond to save his life, or yeah, get as much help as she could to save his life. And I like that with Lex. He was kind of the second half of the coin with Clark, because what I saw in terms of differences between Lex and Superman, I also saw a lot of similarities. They're both very emotionally underdeveloped, and they still think in terms of black and white. No,
Yes.
I don't
Sure.
think that they've
Yes.
really experienced a lot of challenges in their life either. They've been very contained in their own frame of thinking and
Right.
way of life, where that just is normal for them. That's the way things are supposed to be. And as as kind and well-intentioned as Clark and Superman are, they're one and the same, or yeah, there's both parts of the same person. I still feel I want to see more development and more maturity in this iteration of Superman. I think that there's
Yes.
going to be ample amount of chances for that,
Yeah.
or there's plenty of room and opportunity for that to happen. He's literally only 31 years old, or not even 31. Cornswet just turned 31, I think. So
32.
Yeah.
Yeah, 32. Yeah.
yeah. So I want to give the movie that that runway where I'm just these are very early stages in their life, superheroes and villains, so they have plenty of room to become more tactile, because I think that's
Yeah.
where Lex, a lot of the pushback on Lex was he's so cartoony, he's so over the top, he's so impulsive, and I'm just like, yeah, he sounds like, a young man who's never been challenged or and just
Yeah.
Thank you.
given
Thank
everything in
you.
life. He's like, just privileged AF. So of course he's gonna, like
Yeah.
not see, from another person's perspective. But on the same side, I felt like, okay, like Clark, you grew up on a remote farm. Your parents are obviously
Yeah.
hokey AF. You barely know how to use technology yourself. So I do think, he has to. I would like to see him come out of his bubble as well. So that's kind of like what I felt in the nutshell, where like these are all folks who are learning how to becoming more self-aware and potentially going to lead us into a journey where they, become even better versions of themselves. So as much as I don't think we got a lot of that in this movie, I am hoping that we see some of that in future content. So that's where the hope was for me. I was like, I hope we get a better film after this.
That's fair. I mean, also to Ryan's point, we've been saying how much this is going to mean a lot to kids. Can you imagine how much this is going to mean to people going to college for the first time if they have the opportunity to go to college for time to leave their home for the first time? You see a movie like this, and be like, wow, if these people who are way higher, different, not even higher, but just more of the world in their shoulders, circumstances, how is that going to affect me? So I can't imagine how people who are becoming young adults or turning into adults are going to take this movie, because again, there's a couple of stuff in the movie that I'm like, fuck, that hit home for me.
Yes.
Like even him like saying like, Lois, what did you mean by that?
Right.
And her just wishing this, and he's like, okay. And he goes, he before he opens the door, he looks back and walks out. I'm like, that's
what I said coming out of this movie.
That. Like,
that's what I said coming out of the movie. Like, even though I had a lot of issues with it, like wasn't for me at the end of the day. Like I said, this is going to be a lot of people's, not only is it their first Superman in the theater, it's the one that they're growing up with, but it's getting them not only into these characters, but, we all have those movies. Like, I'm sure everybody here has those movies that resonates with them in one unique way that doesn't to the rest of us. This is going to be that for a number of people in their own unique way. So
100%.
At the end of the day, that's what movies do. So
Also, it's fascinating to see Lois meet Jonathan and Martha Kent first time. Be like, I'm Martha, he's Jonathan. I'm Lois.
Yeah.
Like helping their son, like to get find a safe place for him. And I don't know. I can going back to the Kents. And like, oh, don't worry about him. He's just mushy and just like
yes. I have family in Mississippi. That's where my mom's side of the family's from. And I saw a lot of people like push back on how they were talking. And I'm just like, that stuck home to me. I don't care if y'all don't actually come from that environment, especially of farmers and like Southern, or country like accents of like, it just felt to me, it felt organic, but even then
very realistic.
It felt very realistic. It felt like these people, like, you could trust that is and to me, that is the most American. When Henry in Man of Steel, when he said, I grew up in Kansas, General, that's most American you can get, right? That's, to me, I wish we got more of that with him. But because that line right there was like, yes, talk about you being Kansas, right? And so we're having the parents come in like that. Luann is very nice, Lois or whatever, right?
Or that place is still just as good as it was, like
right. But it gives off that environment again. Going back to animation, like when Superman brought Martian Manhunter for Christmas, he never experienced it, but yet they're just so welcoming and inviting. So like the Kent was like a
strangers aliens here.
Right. It was like a stop shop, like, hey, here's my buddy, he's hey, can you stay at my parents? Like, hey, there's an extra room for you. Here you go. Like,
Kara? She's with Barbara, and it's just like,
I
love the scene where she's like, Clark, hello, like
phone.
that
Don't be a stranger.
That was like
that actually reminded me of there was this early promo clip where they were FaceTiming, or Lois was like, okay,
me and
Clark,
him both were like,
I'm gonna walk away, and then Clark's just sort of like in the Daily Planet, just sort of looking at the computer like, who's there? What do I do? So I'm like, okay, they kind of set the stage for like, Clark. Oh yeah, and he was like, not even knowing how to like turn on the recording.
Yeah, he's just like
device either. I'm just like, okay, like seeing his parents where he grew up, that makes a lot of sense.
The very Clark Kent
I'm not saying that like it was a profound, like, oh wow, like this is where all his humble, values come from. I will say that, it was very, much like a caricature of what I think Gunn thinks of who middle America is. And I'm like, that's not necessarily like the most flattering way to like, showcase folks from Kansas who happen to live on a farm. But I am going to go in with the assumption that this is just specifically for Clark's parents. But I'm like, well, I'm still trying to like kind of balance like my perception of how much of this is jokey jokes and how much is this playing it straight. Like, is this
Natural.
like, so that's kind of where I was, I'm kind of like on the like I don't really know about this movie, because I went in originally into the film thinking like, oh, there's going to be so much satire, so much self-awareness, it's going to be campy. But like the difference between camp and playing it straight is where playing it straight, you start, finding humor and laughing at things that are unintentionally funny. So now I'm laughing at things that like, okay, oh, you literally, are characterizing this person this way. Like, it's not a jokey joke. Like, they might be saying jokey jokes, but the way this person is portrayed on screen, that's not a jokey joke. So that's where I was just like that tone, cognitive dissonance as well. A lot of people pointed that out, where I can appreciate that a lot of these characters and a lot of the stuff I saw on screen is what other people are saying is comic accurate, and the portrayals of these characters are accurate in some, perception or some like iteration of this character. I think where my criticism though is, and I hope this makes sense, is that that's great, but cinematically and how it was translated, by the storyteller, by the writer and the director, I going in like not knowing like, the backstory of why these characterizations exist is a little jarring for me, because I wanted to stay immersed and stay engaged and invested in these characters without having to really like wonder why is this happening? Like, why is this character behaving this way? And if it's just rooted in source material that I have to go out of my way to read, I don't think that makes it a successful story in the movie, or a way to, tell the story. So I just feel like they, relying so much on source material, it's kind of like the double-edged sword, where a lot of folks want that, but the way it happened, they're not, not everyone is like happy with, I see.
That's a very good point. How do you feel about the female characters aside from Lois Lane? Because like Miss Taskmacher, I think what's her name for Daily Planet? Cat Grant. Because James Gunn, if you have not, probably seen all his films, there are certain characters of female characters that come across as very either stereotypical or sexualized characters. And I didn't know, like I told my wife about it, like, because I noticed, a friend of mine told me this, and I was like, hey, did you notice this? Like, yeah. And like, did it bother you? And she's like, no. Well, because you're gonna have Lois Lane, who's strong in her career and everything. Then you're gonna have the very women that are the dumb blondes, because they do exist. And then you have some girls who are very sexual and have their boobs out at work and whatever. But to me, it didn't care, because this is a comic book world. But I didn't know if that did not that bothered you or not. I don't know. That's what, because I've been asking many people, and people would give me different answers.
No, for me, I don't know if this will make sense, but I'm kind of a girl's girl. Like, I'm gonna hype up every woman I see in the movie, and whether or not since I said that I feel like Gunn is playing it straight in how he's characterizing the folks in the story. I saw Eve and I saw her like tropiness, and I mostly just hooked on to how she's a victim of abuse, psychological abuse, physical abuse. So that's the part I kind of hooked myself onto. And then when it came to Cat Grant, I love her outfit, and I'm just like, this is a progressive workplace, there's no HR, like worries about, she feels totally psychologically safe dressing like that. And I'm like, I wish I had the psychological safety to even walk outside with that outfit, let alone go to the workplace. So for me, I was sort of like thinking I feel for these women, and I also am like clapping them up for, being who they are and owning it. I felt like every female character in the film just owned who they were. And that's what was like so clap it up worthy for me. I was just like, Eve, you're looking to escape an abusive relationship. You're going after your man. You're doing what you can to help them. Like, you go, girl, do what is best for you. I didn't get that sense with like Cat Grant too much. I know probably not a lot of people did. She was just sort of there. I would have loved to see more of her, but I love, her confidence in the workplace. So that's cool. Loved Lois. I felt like I probably related to her a lot more than the other women, probably because she, it wasn't that she was like overtly intelligent or savvy as far as like how to problem solve. She was just sort of like flying by the seat of her pants as far as like, I know I need to do something, so let me just do as much as I can with what information I have, and then just figure it out as I go. I'm like, she was like a really strong adult in that story, where I was like kind of critical because I felt like her and Mr. Terrific were the only real adults in the story, or like the ones that I thought were really like realistic and Engineer. I effing love Engineer so much. I went into the movie sort of predisposed to like love her character because of all the information that I learned about who she is and the authority leading into the movie. I don't think any of that was really, translated into the movie necessarily. Nope. But as far as her as a character in the movie, I really liked her. I would love to see more of her. I was actually thinking like, okay, she's going to turn code against Lex. She's going to realize this guy's full of shit. And then, she's going to do her own thing. So I'm hoping that that's the case, and we haven't seen the last of her. So all four of, and then Ma Kent, she seems like, a level-headed sort of like reality-based person. She's still sort of hokey, doesn't, isn't like maybe like 100% savvy about the world relations and things like that. But she's emotionally grounded enough to know that like, Clark, I'm going to go get your boots, or I just finished cleaning your boots, or whatever the line was. Like, she's like, no, my son needs to go. Like, he's, like she's not going to, coddle him or anything like that. So, I apologize if I'm missing more. Oh, Supergirl. Yes. Okay. So yes, Supergirl. I guess because of my lack of knowledge about the source material for Women of Tomorrow, I am wondering if I'll really be jazzed about the movie that we'll see next year. But I will also say, going back to what I was saying about, yes, the comic accuracy might be on point for a lot of people. However, what we saw on screen, like how they were shot, what lines of dialogue they had, how they were introduced, like first impressions, those are all things that were decisions on the filmmaker, not the comic writer. That the comic writer created that iteration of the character, but the filmmaker made those decisions on the cinematography, the writing, and how their characters responded to that character in that moment. So as like kind of a lackluster impression I got with Supergirl on screen, because I was thinking like, I was like excited for the idea of a Supergirl movie coming out. First impressions of her on the screen were underwhelming, but I don't hold that against her so much because those are the decisions of the filmmaker to introduce us to her that way. So yeah.
I'm pumped.
So I gotta ask you this, right? Your experience in the theater, was it like people clapping? Was it like quiet? What was it like? I want that.
Oh, okay. So I went to one of the IMAX preview screenings on Tuesday, and it was all folks who were predisposed to like the movie. I'm not gonna lie, I was predisposed to like have things that I was looking forward to too. But there were folks in there that I felt like were really gassing up this movie, like, or going out of their way to just be like, and I'm just like, bro, stop. You're as annoying as the people who clap when the plane lands. Like, bro, but it's not that deep. Like, I literally was like,
that's what clapping for.
I'm like, these jokes are not that deep. They're not that deep.
Damn, that was funny.
So I saw it a second time on Thursday. Everyone was more realistic and toned down. It's like, okay, we actually are. Yeah, no one's in here being extra like that.
There were people being extra. I'm not gonna lie, there were. Like, I mean, there were jokes I did not laugh at, and the girl in next to me was like, "Oh my god, look how he's chasing the squirrels and all that." I'm like,
right.
I'll say this.
I'm just sitting there. I was like, "What are you laughing at?"
Twice. I've seen the movie twice. Every time, I'm goddamn Mr. Terrific. Everybody
was clapping for that. Yes, yes.
It's like, oh,
he got a little inspired by Wesley Snipes there. It felt like.
Yeah.
I only needed to watch the movie once. Once was enough for me.
going back.
I'm gonna try and see it again hopefully next week. So
Hey Phil, did you like Superman or Jurassic World Rebirth better? Which one?
Ooh.
Damn.
Damn.
That's a good one.
He's like, I'm just waiting for Fantastic Four.
Is a gun pointed at my head?
No.
Yes.
Oh, literally.
All
and
right,
figuratively?
fine. Yes.
Both. Yes.
Pull the fucking trigger.
Damn.
We have to say goodbye to Tadia. He's been
Yeah.
thanks for being here, man. Appreciate it.
Take
It
care,
was great
brother.
seeing you again.
Thanks. Sorry.
See you, Tadia.
Have a good day.
All right, bye
Peace and
guys.
chicken.
Have a good night, man.
Wait, so Phil, you didn't make a choice. You were just like, no, just pull my
kill
brains
him.
out. It's
Just
fine.
take him out.
Kill him.
Fucking take me out.
take
I don't
him
wanna
out.
watch either one
Wow.
of them.
I enjoyed Jurassic World more, but again,
Whoa.
I'm such a lifelong fan of that series, and
Yes.
as much as it keeps failing and letting me down, I can't not go to the movie, you know? Just like how a lot of people were like,
So
oh, it's a
real.
Superman movie. I have to go see a Superman movie. I'm like, I get it. I have to go see dinos, chase after humans. It's fine.
I guess
That's Transformers fans to a T.
the drive to go see another Jurassic World movie is like, okay, how fucking ridiculous is it going to get this time?
Yeah.
Again,
What's
anyway,
the
yeah.
new island this time?
What's
right?
the new mutant dinosaur this time around? Like, what's the
Yeah.
who's the
Well,
new cast of
isn't
fucking
there
characters?
isn't there something in the books about or something that there's 5 islands or something?
Yes, and this
Okay.
island is not any of those 5.
Okay, so literally there are because we've seen 2 out of the 5, right?
Three.
Two.
Two or three.
So
Because-
technically, there's 3 others we could explore.
Because there's the original island, which is Nublar, and then
Yep.
there's Storno, which was Jurassic Park 3.
Mhm.
I don't remember if Jurassic World takes place on Nublar. I don't remember if that is the case or if it's one of the other islands. It might be, but I don't remember.
I would assume yes, since the original T-Rex is there, unless they moved.
Okay,
it. I
that's a
don't
great
know.
point.
And
Then
Jake
yeah,
Johnson
so-
wore the T-shirt.
I think
it
it's
just
in
might
there.
be. It might be.
Yeah,
But yeah,
so,
there's 3 other islands that are talked about in the Lost World
yeah,
book.
so they literally could do that instead of making up shit, right? Like
Yeah,
they could
David
just
David
actually-
Coep wrote the first movie from that fucking book. He wrote, I think he wrote Lost World. I could be wrong about that. And I'm just like, oh, okay. So we literally just decided to make a brand new fucking island, like James Gunn decided to make a brand new hero in the hero Barovia, Hammer Barovia, whatever the fuck that dumb.
Yeah,
shit's
Hammer
called.
Barovia, which it's like I figured as much. It was Ultraman. Like I assumed it was all. There's no
Okay.
way.
Speaking of that, the reveal of like Ultraman being the Hammer Barovia and like him coming out of the pocket dimension and then Eve being like Ultraman. I was like, this is stupid.
That was just
Oh
that was your
my
favorite
God.
scene. Come on now. What are you talking about?
No.
Yeah, that moment was a little strange, but once you know Eve's kind of like backdoor plan of what she's doing, she's really playing up the idiot. Because think
Yeah.
about it, Lex is the smartest fucking person in the world, or whatever the fuck. He's one of the smartest people. He's dating, presumably, even though I don't think she is. She's playing up the dumbest person ever. Like that's what she's
Right.
doing.
Like,
So she's really playing it up in that moment. Yeah, it is annoying and frustrating. I'm like, ugh. But as you see more, like, okay, like it's a choice, but she's really playing up how stupid she is.
Yeah.
And like that, and I said the selfie shit, it's really dumb. The reveal of how that actually ties into her showing secret shit. How Lex didn't figure that out is showing Lex has a blind spot.
especially
Yeah.
when you look at the
Underestimate people.
number of photos that were taken, it's like, how did no one catch
Yeah,
up?
Like
because
she took selfies of full on contracts, like
Yeah,
not
well,
even like part of a contract. It was the full contract.
And
Like
well,
pages.
think about this too. How like you see how Lex got so fucking mad when Superman got out? He's throwing shit at her. Like he's probably
Yeah.
not even paying attention to her. He doesn't give a shit. So I think there's a lot of like layers, and maybe this is gonna like teach Lex. Yeah, I shouldn't have a blind spot to people, like anybody.
Yeah,
Even though
don't
he's
trust
assuming,
anybody.
oh, she's just some dumb girl I'm with right now.
Right.
She's playing it up,
Yeah.
and he's ignoring her because I'm focused on taking out Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't trust
So-
anybody. Like the only thing he'll get to the only thing where he can trust is things he can control.
Which I would
which he thought he was controlling her. He
Right.
thought,
Yeah.
Which, like I said already, like I would love a lot if they like really committed to that story and like really treated that part, like this story about violence with a little bit of respect. And like again, like that's like my biggest thing with this, or is like that part of the movie to me did not sit well with me. It kind of felt like we were dancing around this very dark, very serious topic
what?
with the whole like
The
Jimmy
violence.
Olsen the like stuff with oh what's her name? I'm sorry, what's her
Eve really could have benefited
yes,
from in that
yes.
regard.
Eve and Jimmy and Lex, yeah.
The movie could have just benefited from a much better writer.
oh, So wait. So I just want to clarify. I just want to understand what they were talking about. You saying it didn't sit well with you in terms of how they were addressing Eve's relationship with Lex, or how? And
I guess it kind of felt like they kind of use it more as a joke than actually addressing, hey, this is trauma. Hey, this is fucked up what she's going through. And then it would work better for me if Jimmy Olsen's like, oh, this is terrible. We need to get you out of here. We need to get you safe. And then kind of when that scene happens, it's like, I don't know if I want to hang out with you this weekend. I don't know if it's a good time for me the whole weekend. It's like, no, get her out of here. This is a very dangerous situation.
Well, I guess my response to that is how much did she tell Jimmy about what Lex has done?
Yeah.
That's the question. Also, too, Jimmy's not really thinking that through. He's just like, yeah, she's this weird girl I used to date at one point. He's not really. He's thinking about the story. He's not thinking about that. Plus, also too, the way she words, when that conversation between them, she had at that moment, she could have broke and said, "Look, this is what Lex is doing." The way she goes about it is, well, Lex was torturing a dog. And then
oh my god,
and he's like, "Holy crap, what are you talking about?" And then that's kind of where it stops, right?
Yeah.
So the question is, could they have written that better for her to just admit, here's what Lex has been doing? Yes, but they were focused on he's more focused on the story. That's what he cares about.
Yeah, everybody had their tunnel vision goals in this.
Yeah,
dude, you made such a good point, and this is another you just give me another criticism where Gunn is playing it straight in that saying people care more about animals than they do human beings. And I'm like, dang, is that your intention of how you're characterizing Eve as a victim of abuse versus how everyone jumps up to help and care about an animal? Even Clark goes out of his way to save a squirrel at the risk of hundreds, thousands of people at risk all around him, but they use that as a character building device to show that he values all forms of life. So those were things that were really frustrating for me, because it's like Jake was saying, there's tunnel vision, but there's also very frustrating I don't know if this would this is actually helping me care about these characters when they are so tunnel visioned and making decisions that aren't necessarily they don't show they're cognizant of anything else that is happening around them. Everyone's just sort of responding in the context of how the situation is related to them and their safety, as opposed or how it's preventing them from their end goal, as opposed to responding around each other, where there's no feeling of teamwork necessarily. I feel like there was somewhat of a companion sort of Lois going alongside Mr. Terrific kind of doing all the work, Lois being there for oh yeah, there's Clark, and her just being present as proof that she cares about Clark, not necessarily significantly contributing, other than maybe getting Clark over to safety. There was also this sense of the JLI just sort of all being on different pages as far as this is what I need to do, this is what I think should be happening to save the day, and how to respond to this huge kaiju. And Clark sitting in his apartment, kind of sulking, seeing some havoc happening outside his window with the imp, saying oh no, the JLI have it covered. So I felt everyone was just if I'm dealing with something, even if it's only specific to what is important to me, then that's all that matters. So I did feel that was kind of an undertone where I felt the villains who are supposed to be so short-sighted, as far as Lex being so driven by jealousy. I'm well, there's other folks in the movie as well that you could we could have a discussion around their vetted self-interests, or all that are driving their actions as well. So yeah, that's just something that thank you, Jordan, for helping me kind of communicate that, because that was another thing that I didn't want to forget.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, no worries.
Well, good points made.
And again, I hope, I said, I enjoyed Jimmy Olsen in the film. Do I want to see the same storyline and thing going forward? No. If that keeps happening, that feels like a one-trick pony thing and be like, dude, let him out of the Daily Planet let him go to another city and see what life is like in another city. Like that's the thing that again, great. Like for me, good starting point. Where can we improve? Where can we go and like even make it enhance more? And also, if they enhance more and get it better in later films, stories, shows, whatever, we're gonna appreciate how we started with this film and see where that character ends up at, and how at one point Jimmy's running his own story and Lois wants to help, or sometimes Lois needs to cover something and Jimmy is there to lend a hand and whatnot. Like when she went to go also get Superman out of it, I also think she went there to be like, I have firsthand witness. I've seen the pocket universe, so I am a testament to it. And I love that there was that collaboration. And again, going back to Lois and how she was just like a force to be reckoned with, and just someone that you were willing to follow a story with. The fact that she went to the Hall of Justice, be like, y'all are friends, help him out. And then the hesitation and whatnot, and then you kick it back to when they're all in their own separate ways. And it, again, it has to do with just somebody seeing that sign, a little kid putting up that sign in the middle of a war zone, and be like, okay, let's do something about it. If they're willing to believe in that.
Dude, I liked the movie. I gave it a 6 out of 10. I know that doesn't sound like the best score, but I did enjoy it. But you just reminded me of another point of contention where I was just like, they focused on that scene so much of the little kid in John.
Oh, in the trailers and all that.
Yeah. I was just like, Superman's gonna like fly at like 1,000,000 miles per hour to get there.
Too. Yeah.
And it ended up being like, oh, I got some, some help or some friends, like, and I was just like, that is just the most like just blue-balled way to communicate a resolution to that scene.
I think that's like an execution thing for me, because I think what they were trying to do is saying that his biggest superpower is inspiring other people to step up, right? I think that's the point of that scene. But I don't really think that's conveyed on screen when that happens. So like when like Guy Gardner shows up, I was like, oh, I thought it was going to be Superman. That's what it's building to. So, but like I think if it's like, I don't know, like maybe if it's shown on TV, like him struggling and whatever, and like they're being inspired by it or something, and then they show up being like,
"Oh, he can't be everywhere at once."
Yeah, like if they see his struggle, then that'll make them able to relate to him a little more because they struggle too.
See, I'm not gonna lie, talking to y'all. Let's see. This is the thing. I'm not a tunnel vision with this, because like this, you bring up things. I've seen it 3 times, already this week. And even though I love this film, the part you were talking about the show don't tell, it would be nice to see that he would interact with that kid, but like let's say in the beginning of the movie, because he said I came in and stopped the war, and let's say he interacted with that kid. It's like no, he come back, he can save us again. Still having the hope at least a hero is going to inspire, because other heroes were inspired by Superman. But to the point about the conversation about, usually villains can be short-sighted, but then here you also have heroes seeing short-sighted too when it comes to Justice Gang. I think that was also an opportunity of just, for me, knowing what's coming. It's like, the Justice Gang, even Hawkgirl killing the president of Brevia and everything, which I know is I think will have ramifications. Like, listen, like Superman would have done that, but like, would the Justice League would have done that? No. Would the Justice Gang do something like that? Yes, but that's why they're flawed. I feel like that kind of potential. Like, listen, other teams have operated in a certain way, but we are operating in a different way, which is why when we get into the Hall of Justice and seeing, have those moments when the Justice League is formed, we're already seeing other teams of heroes interacting the way like, no, this is not the way to do it. So like, I think that the fact of them being short-sighted makes sense. Like, you there's no way. That's why you're not part of the league. You haven't earned it. Like there's a way we go about things. So when we vote, hey, 2 Green Lanterns, hey, Guy Gardner, should he be part of the league? No. Like that's the joke they made in Young Justice, adding new members.
Right.
To Justice League,
I remember that. Being honest, they haven't really earned the trust of the world yet as a group. So that plays into it too.
It was also like, gosh, I know it was funny, but I think they played it straight at the same time. Like, as long as you think the name of the group of the Justice Gang is a cool name, then you're in.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just.
I mean,
Really, Phil.
I mean, granted, like
I've got some people-
Hawkgirl
They're
did endorse
laughing.
it. So, like
I love that.
I have a little bit more semblance of respect when Hawkgirl has something to say, even though like her character was not really developed that well. So
Nope.
I want to
Yeah.
give it the benefit of the doubt in that regard. And yeah, I think y'all made a good point as far as like the international JLI, as far as like having like their own maybe like, you know, code of ethics and, you know, values and things like that they operate by. It just seems like this specific one in Metropolis, they seem to go unchecked, which is really scary. And I think one of the senators in the Pentagon pointed that out.
They're corporate. They're bought by Maxwell
Yeah.
Lord, and I think that's going to be explored in Peacemaker.
Yeah.
In there, but
yeah.
like that's what's giving is corporate. They're branding. They're all wearing like that's why when the costumes came out, like Guy Gardner and the only good person, well, at least Miss Terrific and Hawker looked all right, but Guy Gardner's outfit looks ridiculous. Yeah, because you
Yeah.
have the Maxwell Lord is corporate, you know, and I think that's what was intentional going about it too. But like you guys are bringing things up that I'm like I can honestly say yes, like I probably was not happy about that, or like yeah, that could have been better. But I think the opportunity, especially with Jimmy, where you're talking about, like, I would love to see have more relationships just sit and not be jokey. I'll call it what it is. Yeah, there are moments where like something's great and then there's a joke, and then
Yeah.
something's great and then there's like we're not sitting with this. We're going to
Right.
the next butt joke or
And
the
then-
crypto thing. It's like I get it.
And that's the
doesn't-
thing, like, sorry, Darren.
Sorry, it's fine. Go ahead.
I was just going to quickly say in response to Mike, like, yeah, like, you know, I'm about to see it a third time as well. I'm going to have like, you know, maybe like over a week or so, like just so I can breathe and, you know, contemplate the first two times. But in the context of just sitting there watching the movie, it's moving so fast. Like to your point, like, you know, we don't really have time to linger on points. And we also don't have a whole lot of time to like think about how this didn't really work because like, you know, there's so much of more of the story that's happening and you're just, you know, getting to the next plot point. So I think like now that like you don't need to necessarily see the movie multiple times to know, you know, where parts didn't work.
No.
But I think like for at least like in my specific instance, when I'm watching the film in all these, you know, instances and criticisms in the context of the wider film, it's a little like more not forgiving, but it's it's not as jarring as it is like
Yes.
while we're dissecting it, you know, in real time.
It's fair. Yeah,
Yeah.
because the movie moves so quick, it's kind of hard to like really dissect certain things unless you go back and rewatch it. Because like there were certain points I'm like, oh okay, like okay that just happened. Okay, we're done, moving on.
Yeah.
Which
There's a lot of
yeah,
there's a lot of moments that you don't get to sit in.
yeah. If you haven't seen the movie, I wouldn't be here. But I mean, we're not gonna spoil it, so
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
me,
but
it's worth price of
I
admission
think
to go
so.
check it out once. At least go
Yeah.
experience
give it a
it.
shot.
Yeah.
You get
I
to
will
take a
say,
sail.
but yeah, to Phil's credit, he's like very detail oriented, like was able to point out all like, you know, his individual, you know, criticism about the film in his review. So he's very much someone that I can trust that he can see a movie once and he'll tell you exactly like from now to infinity, exactly what he didn't like and point out exactly why. So I want to clap it up for Phil for doing such an awesome job on his review.
Thank you.
Good job,
Yeah.
Phil.
Yeah.
Like I even made the avid choice to just like I don't want to talk about this movie online on social media because like after dealing with like over a decade of bullshit of people just coming down my throat every time I'd express like or love for a certain trilogy of films that I happen to put above every other comic book film, I just don't want to I don't want to be what I dealt with for other people because obviously a lot of other people
Sure.
really want to they want to hype this movie up. They want it to fucking succeed. They want the universe to go forward. And it's like, okay, I get that. I do. And there's a part of me that is like still a little embittered about the fact that like we couldn't give Zack Snyder and company that same due diligence and that same creative respect because a lot of other people wanted everything to be like Marvel Studios and a lot of other people wanted to hate Zack Snyder and a lot of other people just wanted the DC universe to be a fucking Marvel carbon copy and they were just really unfair and really shitty. And even to this day, even some of James Gunn's fans are still being that shitty and saying stupid shit to Snyder fans like, let your fucking universe go. It's dead like his daughter. And it's like, dude, fuck you. Number one.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Fuck
No,
that.
Right.
yeah.
Like, fuck all that. Okay.
I see why you got-
And I think to your point, Phil, like another thing y'all are reminding me of is like we literally only got like 3 movies with Zach's trilogy. Of course, like there's supplemental material that could also expand on these stories too. But the DCU is getting TV shows. They're getting all this supplemental content in the pipeline announced and in pre-production. And we were lucky to get those 3 movies. So I don't think it's fair at all to compare what limited amount of I mean, I guess it's fair because everyone has their own opinion, but I don't think that it's a one-to-one comparison, if that makes sense, because there's so much that we did not get compared to what everyone who's on board with the DCU, and I guess people who will watch it and spectate for their own criticisms and analysis and stuff that they can bank on or somewhat have anticipation for additional material. It was always like a wait and see for folks who were in real time waiting for those movies.
Yeah, you gotta remember that summer of we're old enough to remember that summer of 2016 when BVS came out, and once BVS came out right before Suicide Squad, there was a switch that happened right there with Walter Amada and everything. It's like, no, this is not. And midway through shooting, while they're preparing for Justice League, and then like, no, this is
not yet.
I remember the teaser for the first JL, that Comic-Con with the White Stripes music.
Yes,
I remember that teaser.
Comic-Con it was a completely different
movie than what I had seen in the theatrical release.
The initial sneak peek of Suicide Squad was vastly different than the movie.
It was the same tone as BVS.
Yeah. And when I think about this movie again, like I just don't want to be that shitty person to someone who's online expressing their love and joy for it. And it's like, yeah, that's cool. I get it. You're a fan. You're a fan of James Gunn, regardless of how I feel about the guy. I don't know him personally. I'm going to Los Angeles in 2 weeks. God forbid I run into him or Peter Safran. If I did, I would probably just go about my business and go get coffee or whatever. Yeah. I'm not going to fucking go out of my way to be like, dude, fuck you. You made a shitty Superman movie. Because that's just not how I roll. I'm not going to go out of my way to do some dumb, immature shit like that. But at the same time, like, I'm not going to lie to people and be like, no, I didn't fucking like the movie. Okay. Like, I'm going to be blunt with you. I did not like the fucking movie. And it boils down to direction, execution, and writing. I'll be very fucking clear about that. And when it comes to like the Kents, because I didn't really chime in on it because everyone else wanted to. Not that it's a problem, but I grew up on a farm and I've grown up in a farm town and I see country bumpkins every fucking day. So when I saw the Kents in the movie, I was like, okay, he turned them into Hicks. He turned them into fucking country bumpkins. Fucking whoop-de-da. Okay. When it came to, again, I mentioned earlier, like the Jonathan Kent scene with Clark, best scene in the movie, hands down. Best thing he wrote in the whole fucking movie, without question. But then I get to say, the end fight sequence with Ultraman, it looks rubbery. It looks not well choreographed. It looks like crap because the fish lens, like the movie just kind of looks visually unappealing to me too on just a visual level. Like I think it's Henry Bram who's the fucking cinematographer. He did The Flash, and again, it really just boils down to like the visual direction of this movie. There are some flying shots of Superman that look halfway decent, but because of that fish lens, the flying looks like crap too. I'm sorry, but actually, no, I'm not sorry. I'm really not with how I feel about this movie. Like, I think this is hands down one of the worst comic book films I have ever fucking watched. And that's why I say it reminds me of Batman and Robin, because it really is like one big fucking toy commercial on display. You've got Metamorpho there cracking like, oh yeah, the Justice Gang. That's a fucking good name. I love Metamorpho. He was one of the best things about the movie. I love Mr. Terrific. He was also arguably the best thing about the movie. Rachel Brosnahan was probably the standout best character in the movie and had the best dialogue and delivered it with what she could do. I don't like a corny ass Superman. I don't like Superman being corny 24/7. I don't like him delivering fucking one-liners. I don't like any of that shit. Jimmy Olsen, again, I could give a fuck about that character. Truly. 100%. I could give a rat's ass. And like the plot of the movie, again, we're doing 1978 meets Quest for Peace meets a little bit of Super Friends because you have the inclusion of the Justice Gang. That's how I feel about the movie. And frankly, I don't want to talk about it online because I know if I said any of that, people would be in my mentions calling me a fucking idiot, saying I don't understand Superman, all manner of just trying to diminish my intelligence. When I've watched Fleischer Studios cartoons, I've read Superman comics, I've seen Superman the animated series. God forbid, the first Superman movie I ever saw in a fucking theater was Superman Returns. I've seen Man of Steel. I've seen BVS. I've seen the Snyder Cut, all on the big screen. I am fine. I got what I fucking wanted out of Superman as far as a big screen adaptation is concerned. And when it comes to what's next, when it comes to like doing Superman on film, this just isn't what I wanted. And also another gripe that I have is I'm sick and fucking tired of seeing Superman versus Lex Luthor. I am sick to death of that. I want Parasite or Brainiac or Metallo or Mongol. Like there are other Superman villains that you can utilize, but for whatever reason, we need to go back to the Lex Luthor well. And I'm just tired of that. And that's not even me going into the portrayal, because I've already said my piece about how I think Nicholas Holt's portrayal of the character is. So
can I just like kind of give my take on that a little bit? I 100% get that. Like I really do. I will say though, I feel like there hasn't been a chance for like, it feels like every Lex Luthor we get, it's like setting up Lex Luthor, right? It's like setting him up to be this version that we know. And I did at least appreciate us getting to actually see that face off in a way that felt felt real. You know what I mean? That like it felt like on screen. I loved him in like BVS. I know that's a hot take. Like I really wanted to see like where that went, and it felt like we got cut short. And you know, Superman Lois, it's like yes, but he's more of a Lois villain. And you know, you have John Cryer, but there's only so much you can do with that Supergirl lens, you know, right? Yeah. So I personally really enjoyed that they could actually like, to me, feel like face off in the way that they were able to in here. But I definitely get what you mean, where it's like we did an episode of my movie and it was Lex Luthor. Again.
I also have a really like high standard when it comes to Superman and Lex Luthor, because I still think, even with Man of Steel and or rather just BVS and this movie and the other movies with Christopher Reeve and Gene Hackman, I don't think there's ever really truly been like a great Superman Lex Luthor face off on film. Like they came close with BVS in my opinion, but my standard is so high because it's literally Tim Daly, George Newbern, and Clancy Brown.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I will agree with that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I want a Lex Luthor who is cold, who is intelligent, who knows what's up, and who can just talk Superman down and doesn't have to be animated. He doesn't have to be loud. He doesn't have to be obnoxious. He doesn't have to be shitty to his staff. No, I just want Lex Luthor in a towel, and here comes Superman hovering down, and Lex is just like, what the fuck are you doing here? Get the fuck out of my face, dude. Like, I want that. Not maybe that verbatim, that dialogue, but I want a Lex Luthor that just looks up and goes, why are you here? You already know what I'm going to say. What are you going to tell me to back off? You're going to tell me to like stop? I'm not going to. I'm never going to. And the way Lex Luthor is in this movie, I just didn't fucking care. I love Nicholas Hoult. I think he's an accomplished actor. I think I've seen him do better work in other things. He was just incredibly underserved with material he was handed, and that's a fault on the director.
Yeah. No, we were getting a good bit of that Superman Lex rivalry. I feel like we started to get really good glimpses of it with Hecklin and Cutlets, but because the series got cut short, it didn't really get time to develop. Because, like Darren said, he was more of a Lois villain, so we didn't really get to see it develop with Clark that much, only for like a handful of episodes. And
although I will say that fucking red sunlight knuckle drive fight, that was fucking dope.
That scene where he like punches the suit and Lex goes flying as the pieces go everywhere. That's probably the most we've seen like in live action, like Lex v. Superman facing off.
And the whole thing about him like talking those Kryptonians down, granted this wasn't Clark, but when Jordan confronts him in the bar and he's like, you know, in his getup and all that, and Lex is like, you don't have the guts for this. You don't really know what it's like. Whenever you make an enemy, you have to commit. And the next time you come here, you better be ready to kill me. He's making a goddamn Kryptonian, well, half Kryptonian, cower down in fear. And he's just a regular Joe jackass.
Yeah.
He's making him cower down, and he's like, oh my God, this guy is mentally screwing with me.
And like I do really always enjoy, and like it wasn't anything new that I get they've done this time and time again, but I did enjoy the motivations for Lex in this movie. Like I do enjoy, I always love that, like that jealousy. I wish we could have spent more time kind of building up to it, but like I like the like all these very intelligent people work their entire life to be in this category, and you fly down and you get that instantly. Like I like that there's that jealousy that like I will never live up to you as hard as I try, and I hate you for that. I just wish
is a calling.
Yes,
like, come on.
I wanted to sprinkle a little bit more, just like push it a little bit further, and I think Lex really works for me in this one. But I'm curious where we go next, because like this is also the most like evil I think we've seen like a Lex Luthor, right? Like typically we're building up to it, and there's usually like a motivation to why he's like this. This guy's just a fucking evil douchebag. Like there is like he's there from day one.
Yeah.
It's like when he started pointing at Superman, like maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, and I was just like,
and listen, I want to say this to feel like I completely understand. Again, you know, we're talking the back end and this and stuff. And like I said, even with Raya and everybody here, like y'all bring up good points in here. As someone who I love this film, and I watched it 3 times only to like, because as a critic, as a journalist, I gotta make sure that also I can be very naive as well, even in my review. So I want to make sure, and this property means a lot to me. The DC property means a lot, just like comic books, Marvel, it means a lot. So I want to make sure that I'm getting like, do I having the same feeling I have the second view, and I having the same feeling the third time I'm seeing it. And I'm like, yes, I am confident what I'm feeling, but yet at the same time, I can agree what you're saying. Like, I do see that as a flaw, but some of the things that you thought was a flaw for you, like I actually like this because XYZ. And to my next point, we had a conversation like the Wall Street Journal talked about the development of Justice League and what they're planning out for rolling out for films and stuff. I think we can all agree that James do a better job focusing on ensemble films dealing with a bunch of characters in a team than he does with just one single character. And I don't know if you can agree or disagree on this, that he'd probably be better fit to do a Justice League film than he would to do a Superman film. Do you agree?
First time he's done this. It's the first time he's done this.
Right, so that's what I'm saying. Right.
I was like, I'm gonna have to adjust to that because everybody knows Superman. Nobody knew Ratcatcher or a lot. Like, nobody really knew them. Like you have to be really geeky about it. And so I can kind of see that to an extent. And I think I've been saying that like the first big test is going to be this movie. And then it's going to be like, okay, what's the next project that doesn't have him writing or directing and that he's just producing? And let's see if he commits to his word of like,
I agree,
letting them do the thing.
Supergirl.
It's in the same universe, but we're not having we're not having to make sure that it's in the universe, but it's not. You don't have to have watched Superman in order to get Supergirl, or you don't have to see Supergirl to get to Lanterns. Like once these first 3, like the next 2 projects come to buy, the momentum is gonna build up, and I think people are gonna have to either start accepting that we're going in a direction, either keep up with us or like hey, this is where we're going for a while now, and again, for better for worse, that there's being plans set in motion, and we're not, no pun intended, jumping the gun on just getting stuff out to make to make a profit out of it. Because they have to make money out of it.
Because that was the same problem the old regime faced. They just threw a bunch of things at the wall, prayed one of them stick, and tried to fast track 20 things before any of them had been written.
And I'm not throwing a gauntlet. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to quickly say, Mike, you raised your first point was I'm like, remind me what your first point was, because I was like
was talking about what, even though I saw this film 3 times and I loved it, is that all you guys are making points that like I can agree, that is a flaw, but also some of the things that you thought that bothered you, I felt for me like I like this because XYZ, and I wasn't the only one that felt that alone, like, oh, I actually like this dynamic of this person, even though it might seem jokey or something for you. For me, I'm like, well, this is what we've been asking for, personality. But
none of us here are bashing anybody for our opinions either.
Yeah, exactly. So Mike and Jake, you make like a great point too. I just wanted to call out, like, sometimes like we're there's not always like a space to express that sentiment or be, honest about your feedback without feeling like you'll be persecuted for that. And I just want to, shout out, Council of Creators for creating that space where it's like, it's like, 10 people, just excited about the same thing or wanting to talk about the same thing, but everyone gets a, opportunity to to say their piece, and everyone engages with one another too. So that's why I tune in every week to y'all's show, because I'm just like, I F's with this, this panel so heavy. Like, I'm ready to like learn something, So that's what I look forward to. It's not just a competition to outtalk the other person or prove them wrong. It's never that here. So I really appreciate it.
No. It's been fascinating how seeing the film 2 times. I've just been watching the dialogue between some of y'all in the chat or some of the stuff online. And just watching, I'm just sipping my coffee and just be like, good point, or nah, I still stand with this, and then be like, let's see how a week goes by with this movie, and then whether I decide to engage with stuff or not.
Video essays and all that stuff, breaking it down.
I'm writing down,
pipeline.
I'm writing down characters I want to see, because I feel that what, there might be a big chance I see some characters that nobody really knows or cares about. Like,
how high is Vic Sage on that list, Ronan?
Dude, I'm right now gonna go either right now or tomorrow. Go to Barnes and Noble and look for All-Star Superman. I'm gonna go and
there you go.
find this stuff. Like I got that synergy. Oh fuck!
I mean, what this universe has already done that I'm already love. I think Mr. Terrific is that biggest win, because now I'm seeing so many people be like, okay, like what comics can I pick up, and the action figures, and like I really want more of them, and it's like we would have never imagined that like Mr. Terrific would have been that guy.
No,
I cannot I are already calling it Halloween. All the kids are going to be going as
I'm going to be Mr. Terrific.
Like
that is going to be Mr. Terrific. I was Deadpool for last Halloween. I'm going to be Mr. Terrific for this Halloween.
Also,
I do want to also circling back to Bill, I align with so much of your criticism, especially how you outlined it on Vodka Stream last night. Like the chat was totally like gassing you up. Like we're just like, F yeah, Phil, like, speak your truth. Like, yes, like there were, moments where, you like towing the sentiment of like, the stream of trying like not even like really like having intention of endorsing something, but trying to find something positive to talk about. Whereas with you were like, no, I just watched a movie. This is, cinematically, I'm going to focus on how things didn't work. You didn't lean on any sort of like, exclusive sort of like insight into like, the comic books, where a lot of people I've noticed, like to throw stuff in other people's faces, like, oh, you don't understand the character, you don't, understand like lore of this character. And I felt like that it has nothing to do with what I saw on the screen. And you were, you're fearless to, call that out and hold like, stand by.
You mean like when Ben said, "What the fuck are you talking about?" When I said the fucking movie tonally reminds me of Batman and Robin. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
And again, like I don't, I'm just like I want to see, you being in a space that supports, giving you that space to speak on, on what you want to say. And there's no like, taking it personal or using ad hominems or anything like that to, discredit what you're having to say, because you shouldn't even have to say, like all your credentials on, why, your point is valid. Like, it's valid whether or not, you do have, that external knowledge of the film. But if we're talking about like just the quality of the film and like, things that worked and what didn't work, that's where I want to kind of focus on. And I can appreciate there are like standout moments, but yeah, that doesn't, those standout moments don't define the film itself. But yeah, I just sort of wanted to call that out. Like, yes, there are positive things about this film and things that I enjoyed, but as a whole, the overall, product I was sold is not satisfactory.
Yeah, no, yeah. I don't disagree at all. I mean, I went into it and I was genuinely just like, guys, I don't know where the fuck I'm gonna land with this. And people were like, no, you're gonna fucking hate it. Oh, you're gonna fucking hate it. And I'm just like,
I think I was disingenuous. Like,
I was just like, you're literally telling us that you are going to be as unbiased as you can possibly be, and even though you have your feelings about the film, the writer / director, and there's a lot of superfluous information that and what we're being presented in the marketing itself, where you're just like, these are objectively things that the studio are telling us to expect in the movie, yet I'm not able to like comment on it. So yes, like I'm just like you saying, like just saying like, I see you, I hear you, like that was not okay. And yeah, like you I just appreciate you so much. So yeah, I just wanted to like give you
Thank
that props.
I appreciate that. And it's like it's almost like people weren't paying attention to when I said when the first 2 trailers came out, like, yeah, I like what I'm saying.
I was with you.
I liked what I was seeing, even though I was kind of just like,
I was
okay,
with you.
well, it's different. But then that 3rd trailer happened, and then the clips started pouring out, and I was like, okay, now I remember why I don't like who's making this movie and why I don't like them creatively. And again, people hone in on that, and they immediately just jump to, you fucking hate James Gunn. You're a fucking Zack Snyder cultist. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm like, you know what? Fuck you. You don't fucking know me. And I bet you wouldn't have the balls to say that to my fucking face.
Nope.
And he liked Creature Commandos, so I knew there's a chance that he might like it because it's happened. And I thought, I told him the first time, I was like, that was a miracle. I was like,
and it's like,
yes.
And you could say it in the nicest way possible, most patient, like waiting for folks to finish speaking. I've literally seen that's literally you on every stream, waiting, like to listen to someone and engaging where you feel like your voice can contribute. And even when you do that, you like folks got you fucked up. So it's just like if they got me fucked up, like when I'm nice or mean, then let me just be mean, or like let me just tell it to them straight.
And I mean, that's one side of the internet that's just gotten worse over the years. I mean, it was already kind of bad, but over these last couple of years with, things and everything changing, it's always just gotten worse to where you look at a piece of media, and if you don't gel with exactly what someone says point to point, then they take it as a personal offense. They go for the throat. They say you're a bad person. They make cracks at your family, your race, whatever the fuck you want to say, and to put into that category. They just go for the jugular every time. And I don't know what they think there is to gain by tearing that person down, because it's not going to change their opinion on what they like or dislike at the end of the day. It's just a wrong fucking thing to do. And it's that sort of behavior that led to the failure of the old regime of things.
Yeah.
And if you keep doing that again, it's gonna fail again.
Exactly
and none of it's that serious. Not like
No.
like when you really look at what we're fighting about, it's like, oh, it's a movie about superheroes. Who gives a shit? Like genuinely, who gives a shit? And like we love these, and like to kind of carry on like what you were saying a little bit, Ryan, and it's something that I've thought about over the years a lot, where people are like, well, you're just biased for A, B, C, and D, and it's like, why is that a bad thing? Like, I think being biased is almost underrated in this space, because everybody is biased. Everyone is biased in one way or another, and you're going to watch or read these people's reviews because of their biasness. Everyone's coming from a different perspective. I would be very curious to see Phil's bias on this movie, because he is from that world. And same thing for Ronan, as someone who does like some of that stuff, and Jake for his various takes on and various things. I think everyone can take something different about that depending on what perspective they want to look at. So I think it's very weird to be like, you were biased. It's like, okay, that's bad. Why?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I just wish we were where we could share opinions, exchange opinions like that, and then a difference could not be treated as a mortal offense. Because like Phil was talking about all those things that people say regarding your opinions, that they wouldn't say that in person. Anonymity on the internet has become the worst kind of superpower, because like if you're anonymous and you still say good things on the internet, you're probably the superhero type. If you're anonymous and you turn into a total prick because of it and say a lot of things you wouldn't say to a person in real life, then yeah, you're the villain type.
Yeah. And also, I give credit to James Gunn, I think, is that like he said from the get-go, there's gonna be the DCU main universe and there's gonna be Elseworlds. So guess what, y'all? The playing ground has expanded. If you're not into the DCU, guess what? The Elseworlds is right there. And what else we have? We have animation, live action, shows, movies.
Guys, the dynamic duo, the footage they showed at CinemaCon, guys, you are not ready for that. It's I'm telling y'all, there's more content is coming. What they showed us.
I throw a gauntlet to the DC universe and be like, yo, don't be afraid to do TV movies or specials like that. Like, lean into that. If you don't want to spend $200 million or do a long-term story, I'm like, don't be afraid to swing stuff that's not as popular as it is now, and see if it works. Like the playground, the sandcastle is too big to keep it minuscule.
I think like again, like just to kind of isolate the context of the grander universe and announced projects and things like that, I do think that just having that discussion around the cinematic quality of this film and it being like, the introduction to this universe that, we're looking forward to additional content from. I think it is fair to say, like, based on this first impression of what I am being given right now, and maybe like even material that came from it, like Peacemaker and Creature Commandos, if tonally that's what what I was given, then it's fair to expect that in the future, and it's fair for me to have those concerns and criticisms that I had for those other properties as well. So I just wanted to call that out too. Like, if it's a trend at this point, so it's fair for people to be concerned, and it's also fair for folks to be predisposed to say like, oh, I love what I've gotten, and so like I'm really excited for the next project. And then there's, like I said, to have apprehensions as well, because the products you've gotten so far didn't really vibe with you as much. Like, I think that's also fair.
Yeah, and there's nothing inherently wrong with having that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I will say, if they don't get, especially for Phil, I know he didn't like this movie. Or we were still gonna watch, like, they still releasing films and stuff like that. He's still gonna watch it, because they could get their act together for him, But if Batman Brave and the Bold, the film that really kind of broke it, really started for the last iteration of BVS. If they don't get that, with this Superman we have solidified here, if they don't solidify this universe's Batman, because I feel that there's a stronger audience for Batman fans than there's really for Superman fans, because Batman's been the coattails for Warner Brothers for decades, right? So if you're having, I'm not talking about Matt Reeves and Pattinson, whoever your Batman is, if you don't solidify that movie and have that whether that chemistry or synergy thing, like, oh, this is gonna work, I feel like that's really gonna make or break it. I know a lot was right on this movie, but if you don't get Batman right for this universe, I think there's gonna be huge ramifications for that.
Right, because that's the difference between this and Man of Steel. Like, this was made to start a universe. Man of Steel wasn't.
Yeah.
I do want to call out, like, we've gotten like some context and additional sort of insights from Gunn himself during his interviews, where he has objectively said that he's working alongside the writers for the new DCU Batman movie and the Wonder Woman project as well. So although like we're looking forward to different and unique stories being told by other voices in filmmaking, I do have like my concerns around, okay, like Gunn is ultimately like the CEO of the company, and he's letting us know, hey, I have an active role in the production of this content as well. I'm not just running the studio. So him having that creative as well as like executive overreach, it is concerning for me as well, because like a lot of folks have been saying that, oh, like tonally we're going to get a lot of different stuff, there's going to be something for this person, something for that person, but still, like, my concern is sort of like lingering. I'm just like, yeah, but it's that through line of Gunnisms that I'm concerned about. So I think that that's
Definitely.
something that kind of gets lost in the sauce a little bit, where folks are like, oh, we're gonna get so much more different stuff, and I'm like, are we?
Until we see it, yeah,
right.
Yeah, like,
You are absolutely right.
until we see Supergirl and Lanterns, we're gonna see. Wow, did he keep his word?
Yeah.
I told
Did
you,
he,
Lanterns.
or was he lying? Or could he not
Lanterns
help
was the
himself?
big one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or also, again, for better or for worse, he kept his word. Do we like the different stuff that we got that he didn't have an input on, or not an input, but that he didn't influence all the way?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be heavily critical on Lanterns. Heavily critical.
Because he knows how much John means to it, and he knows how much Hal means to a lot of a whole generation. That
And how important Green Lanterns as a franchise is. Like,
Right. That is the biggest untapped gold mine for DC in terms of whether you're
can you
doing
imagine
TV
if it
or
sucks
movies.
again?
Oh man, bro.
Well, as long as you don't have a
all
studio
their
come
actors.
in and pull the rug out from under the filmmakers, you'll be fine.
Okay, here is a question that I would love to get everyone else's feedback on. I'll start with Phil. Okay, Phil. So like, if you had your choice of a filmmaker to have directed this Superman film, let's say like, you know, same characters present, same actors, who would you hire? It could be like, you know, you can say just like the director, writer, or both. Like, you know, who do you think?
I guess that's kind of a hard question. I mean, if it wasn't this cast specifically, I would have said Christopher McQuarrie, because I did speak to him very briefly about his Superman story. But as far as like with this same cast, I mean, you know, Jake Schreier probably wouldn't have done a half bad job.
Yeah, that's a good point. I loved what he did with Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts, yeah.
I mean, I don't want to really look over at the other side of the camp, but you know, I don't think that's a bad thing to do either. I mean, everything he did with Sentry, immediately it comes to mind, and I'm just like, yeah, he'd probably be a pretty solid choice. Does anyone else come to mind? Maybe Kenneth Branagh, maybe.
Yeah,
you know, give some early Thor Day vibes, kind of a little bit more mythical stuff with Superman. I think I would safely say Jake Schreier. He really impressed me with Thunderbolts. So yeah, probably him.
Yeah, you gave us a few. I love that, and we're getting a few from other folks too. Any feedback from y'all?
I like Scott Derrickson a lot. I like what he did with that first Doctor Strange, and I really like what he did with the Black Phone. Like I thought it was for sure and be all Ethan Hawke, and no, I care for those kids and like what they did, and so you know, I think Scott Derrickson is someone else who I really respect a lot.
Horror directors are just killing it with the well, literally and figuratively with the superhero films.
Yeah,
I like Levy. You know, outside of Deadpool and Wolverine, what he did, I like what Sean Levy's done with like Night at the Museum, Free Guy.
Joseph Kosinski would have done a much better job with the flying sequences than James Gunn ever could have.
James Wan, too.
Possibly. He even said that they're inspired by Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah, no, that's
the irony.
I was thinking about it. Yeah.
And outside of Top Gun, Joseph Kosinski is a great director. If people haven't seen his other stuff besides Tron, go seek it out. It's really good stuff.
I'm, you know, like I have my issues with this movie. You know, there's some things that didn't quite work for me. I'd keep James Gunn. I'd keep James Gunn because I think you have to learn. I think you only learn by doing. And I personally still really love this movie. And I think what they did here was something still really special. And I think at least with this one, that he was trying to set this foundation for what the vibe and the tone was going to be. And that's personally a vibe and a tone that I personally enjoyed, even if some of the placements within the movie didn't quite work for me. But hopefully he can see this feeling, okay, people didn't like this part, and this part. All right, let's see if I can improve going forward. And
grow.
Like said,
yeah.
And grow, yes. And like, hypothetically, I would love if this was the worst DCU project, right? Like, if this is the worst your universe gets, in my opinion, this is a fantastic universe. This is incredible.
The goal is to go up from here.
Yes.
Yes, that's the goal.
And I like that he's going for these like wild cards because again, who knows if he ever doing a collaboration? But the fact that like him and the director of Godzilla -1 talked, and he's like, I'm going to invite you to DC Studios so you can interview. Like, if we get the Godzilla -1 director to do something in DC, I'm like, holy shit.
That would be insane. Yeah.
We haven't seen like the way that this film has played out yet, but and depending on how this ends up happening, I'd be curious to see Matt Shakman take a swing at this.
Like I mean, I love WandaVision, and I'm hopeful like FF will deliver it. So yeah, that's not a bad choice. And that comment.
God damn.
Oh man.
Now Lance had said it. Honestly, I was thinking Steven Spielberg. I would love to see what he would do with it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously he's got other projects, the other shit. But I mean, if there was a world we were living in where he did a Superman film, what would that be? Yeah. Right. I'm also thinking too, based on how he handled Multiverse of Madness, Sam Raimi.
I was thinking that too.
Yeah, Sam
I
Raimi.
thought about that.
I didn't want to be easy and say that, but I did think about it.
You know
Yeah.
who gives me modern Steven Spielberg vibes? John Favreau. I wouldn't mind having John
John-
Favreau.
Actually, I
Oh,
would like
John.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
John
It'd be
Favreau
funny.
does a
He
Superman movie.
starts the MCU and he starts the DCU, right?
Boom.
Yeah.
Because honestly, that 2008 like Iron Man flying, that still holds up.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And this is one that I mean, like he's retired now, so like this couldn't happen. But I would have been curious to see Joe Johnston try it back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, what he did with the Rocketeer.
Yeah.
And then even Cap 1 still holds up
Yeah.
for me. I still
Mhm.
really dig that one.
Yeah.
The fact he made me care about Steve Rogers, this little swingy kid, and then becomes, I'm like, oh man. Yeah.
Taika Waititi.
Michael Bay.
Fuck no. Get that out.
That's a
You
1-2
want to
punch.
get murdered.
That's a 1-2 punch right there.
Like,
I've,
you
you're
are-
insane.
You were asking for it, man.
I've said it. If Taika would do
You
more Jojo Rabbit stuff, but after seeing Thor,
Yeah.
I don't even want to say the names, but yeah, after seeing those two Thor movies, I'm like, no.
You know who
Chloe
has
Is it
no
like
Zhao, I
Kryptonite?
wouldn't hate.
You know who has absolutely zero business making a Superman movie? Matthew Vaughn.
Yeah, because of
I'm
the
a
dumb
Matthew.
shit that he and Mark Millar were pitching about Superman. I agree.
I think Zoe
Legend
Zhao
Drake.
would be really cool. Like I could see.
Oh
her
yeah,
really good.
there
I
you
like
go.
Eternals. I like
Wait,
Eternals. Yeah.
like
Zoe Zhao.
take
Zoe
that
Zhao?
wonder of Internals and then kind of shrink it down to more of a simple story. I
Yeah.
think she could do a really good job with that.
Yeah.
All the explosions. Yeah, just give it for the explosions.
I
If
like
you
Guy
don't want a
Ritchie.
Story at all? Go ahead.
I don't know how you
Guy
would
Ritchie?
do Superman,
Okay,
but I like Guy
I don't
Ritchie.
think Guy Ritchie would be good for Superman. I think Guy Ritchie would make an excellent Batman movie.
Mm.
Because look at his Sherlock Holmes movies and tell me he
Yeah,
couldn't do a
yeah,
badass
yeah.
Batman movie.
Yeah, the gothic
Dude.
vibes and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
If they get him,
He just walked away from fucking Roadhouse 2.
That's true. He did do that.
that's almost
Yeah, he
like
did.
again.
He
It's
got
a
the
nerdy
call
thing
from
that
James. Hey
when
man.
directors and writers like leave a project, you're like, is did we? It's like a sports. Did we draft him? Did we
I
get?
could
Did we
also see
get
Guy
this?
Ritchie.
Like,
But I mean, if you think about it, it's just like I'm really gonna clear up my schedule for Roadhouse 2.
Yeah, fair.
that's true.
Right? Yeah.
The whole fall of Amazon. I mean, he's not happy. So why would he? He wouldn't. Why would he even
Yeah.
do it? You know.
I mean, hey, Denny Villeneuve is going from Dune to Bond.
Yeah. That's crazy.
yeah, which is a crazy thing. But I mean, he loves the franchise, so it makes
Yeah.
perfect sense for him. We're like, really? It's like for him, yeah. Which means he's probably going to crush it.
Yeah.
Like he's going to
yeah.
deliver on something.
man,
He's going to crush Dune Part 3, and then
He's probably thinking like, thank fuck, I don't have to make any more movies with giant worms in them.
No, he's going to put a giant worm in this movie.
He would have
Oh,
kept the Doom Messiah title still. I don't know.
Fight
why
the
they-
grandfather worm. Fuck yeah, dude. Hell
By any
yeah.
chance, this is a random question, but did you guys bring up the mural inside the Hall of Justice? Little
I was
detail.
literally thinking of that
No, we did
when
not.
y'all were talking about like the standards and
That's
and
a
values
Wildcat.
of other
Wildcat's in it.
JLI members.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's
So-
in there. Yeah,
I saw
Wildcat.
vibe.
I've heard
I saw
about this
vibe,
mural.
yeah.
I've heard about this mural that's in this movie, and I didn't care enough to even bother looking for it.
It's in it's,
All
in it's in the shot where she walks away to grab her bag until that haircut should be against your vows.
Buddy,
Atomic
yeah.
Knight,
oh,
Freedom
is that-
Beast, Wildcat,
Vibe.
Vibe.
Fine.
They don't know who this is, and then Dr. Fate, maybe.
There's also another
Dr. Fate.
picture, I think.
Can we please do Wildcat right, please?
Oh yeah, so we have Black Pirate, the Flash, Jay Garrick.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Like, come on, like, man.
Yeah,
Wildcat would be awesome.
Moana
a
Beast,
Wildcat
man.
Bro,
movie? Oh,
Moana
dude.
Beast. Moana Beast. Give me that.
mm.
I mean,
yes,
that's
yes,
cool.
Draven.
Who's Wildcat?
Oh, Jesus. I'm glad that you're finally speaking after an hour.
I have nothing to say.
you gotta teach him.
You
You gotta
guys
watch
are-
it.
Someone was
all
actually
talking about
commenting.
it.
It's like,
subscribe to Draven.
somebody was
He-
commenting saying, "Is Draven even? Does Draven give his
I'm
thoughts already?"
listening. Yeah, no.
Draven, if I rewatch just the
I
Unlimited
literally-
for the first Justice League seasons as a reactions, reactions, I'm gonna have you on because you have to.
Oh, please have me on. Please
Yeah.
have me on.
I will, yeah.
I got to the theater and I almost
Watch
fell
Arrow.
asleep. I almost fell asleep in the theater.
Who are you and what have you done with Darren? Oh, man.
Just watch
that's
Arrow. Yeah, that had a
Yeah.
great Wildcat. I like him, but he's not like a great
Darren,
Wildcat.
no.
I like him as a character, but not as that character. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
God, I mean
Jesus.
people got so mad at me about that because for years I trash talked that. They're like, "Oh, what is the one Wildcat fan out there going to complain?" It's like, yeah, I'm that one Ted Grant Wildcat fan. I fucking had a problem with that.
Or watch Stargirl. It's not it's not that one, but
It's the
is
second
a
one, right?
I guess,
show.
yeah.
I was about to say, I know we all have
It's not-
something to say there.
Wait,
It's
which
not the
one?
same one, but
Stargirl. I'm not watching that fucking show.
Oh man, damn.
Darren, you had to know that was coming.
I should have, yeah.
Yeah, fuck Jeff Johns. I'm not watching that show.
There it is.
Oh, Mark Guggenheim. Oh,
Hey, the guy who co-wrote the X-Men Origins Wolverine game.
Wildcat's a boxer.
he's
Yeah.
a boxer.
Wow,
Yeah,
you
so
figured out how to
oh.
use Google and Wikipedia. I'm so proud of you.
So I got to the movie theater the other day. I told Phil this already, but I was sitting in my chair during the trailers and I passed out and I woke up at the very beginning of the movie. I almost missed the entire
That happened to
Superman
one of my
movie.
people
no.
today.
Jesus
That happened
Christ.
to one of my
Did you
people
wake up
today.
when the? Did you wake
No,
up?
I wake up when
the-
he was flying, like in the beginning of the movie. like-
oh.
So you missed
a
the
couple
text?
minutes. So you missed a
No,
couple
oh
minutes.
no, I saw the text. I literally was, and then I had to get I had to get a big
So
popcorn.
you're literally
bag or I was
admitting
gonna
that
fall
you
asleep.
used
So you missed
ChatGPT
the
to
the
write your
Fortress of
fucking review?
Solitude.
Bro, holy shit!
Here we
Oh.
go again.
That's James Gunn calling you. Be like, what the fuck?
Oh.
You fell asleep?
No, that happened with me with Megan. I fell asleep to Megan too. I was like, hold up. And it's like, oh, she
There were
fighting
points.
her in the party. And I'm like,
There were points.
oh, he's
There
the
were
killer.
there were points in Jurassic World Rebirth where I was doing.
I was
This.
too.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
started
I'm
to
doing-
during this movie, and the weirdest thing is that it was during the action bits. I was like,
See, I couldn't
Okay.
fall asleep because everyone was laughing every 10 minutes because James Gunn thinks he's fucking hilarious.
I mean, I wasn't falling asleep, but I'm just sitting there. I was like, okay, when's the thing happening? But they kept like, it was just a lot of the same rubbery action bits like we're talking about over and over. It's like, okay, come on, can we get past this, please?
Anyway.
All right, wrap it up.
Yep, we're wrapping it up.
Jordan has to go. His wife may or
Good
may
luck
not
with
be
that.
angry with him.
I'm
Yeah,
glad we
no.
started earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
as Lex says,
Yep.
wrap it up.
Yeah, we're wrapping this shit up. We're gonna see
fucking
where we can
reference
find
that
everybody. Phil, where can people find you, sir?
Oh man. Well, if anyone
James
wants to
Gunn.
give- if anyone wants to give me shit for how they feel about this movie, unfiltered, Vero Threads, Instagram, Blue Sky, YouTube, Eternal Night, everywhere else, probably here every Wednesday, Party Nation every Tuesday.
Perfect.
I'm around.
Pornhub.
Whore.
I'm gonna screenshot
Pornhub.
all your threads, share them on X, not tag you or tell you about it, and just
Just see what
everyone-
happens.
And yes,
It has
You
begun.
It has begun.
that's an allusion to what others have done.
Yeah. Darren.
Yeah, you can find me at
Jesus Christ.
you know what?
Damn,
That's
bro, I
enough,
can smell
actually.
that.
I can smell that. Smells like Taco Bell and regret.
Darren Sanctuary. I stream every Monday, every Thursday.
Perfect. Thank you, Darren.
Yeah,
Draven.
catch me using ChatGPT. That's all I use because
Fuck
y'all
yeah,
are
you do.
assholes.
Yeah, you do. Ronan.
You're muted.
James Gunn? Is that you?
You're muted, bro.
You're muted.
Hi. Yeah, you can find.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Damn it.
I didn't
knew
do
it,
that.
Phil.
I didn't do that.
I know, so. Find me at Ronan Unchained on YouTube on all the socials. I just did an interview with Cynthia Von Bueller, the creator of Mickey Woodcock, the comic book.
Ooh,
Go
yeah.
check that out. It was a blast talking to her. And in a few weeks, I'm going to San Diego, so that should be a lot of fun. And data editing. I'm not the only one going to San Diego. But yeah, it should be next few weeks, and a lot of coverage is coming down the road.
Perfect. Jake.
Hi. I mean, right there, Right Bad Jake on YouTube. My review of this is coming out tomorrow. You're probably going to give me as much shit as you're giving Phil up there, but I'm used to it by this point. And I'm also going to be at GalaxyCon Raleigh at the end of the month if anybody's attending that event.
We're trying to mute him. Sorry. Keep going.
Anyway, so yeah, anybody's going to that event in Raleigh, you can find me there where Max Lord himself, Sean Gunn, is in appearance.
Fuck, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but yeah, the rest of the stuff I do is down there, along with the Superman review. I cut couple videos coming out there that I was a little bit late on. And then now that I'm back from vacations, I'm streaming every Sunday, starting back up again tomorrow. Jake's Lost Levels, where I get on my PS4 data back, 7 p.m. on Sundays.
Sup, promo tab. All right. Ray, where can people find you?
Yeah, at Glimmering Harpy. That's my handle for all my socials, or just, X/Twitter. All the links are there in my link tree as well in my bio. Yeah, I've been really enjoying working with Multiverse of Color, making shorts content, and I've been doing a lot of like trailer breakdowns, news reactions.
Really good.
And yeah, it's been a nice like creative outlet to really, to flex on. So I've been doing a lot of that. And then I also just sort of like, attend and participate on like random panels like this with cool folks like y'all. So yeah, thanks for having me on.
Perfect. And Mike.
Sorry, I'm really tired.
It's okay.
Goku and Raditz.
It's okay.
Goku and Raditz.
Yeah.
Sorry,
this was a really good conversation again. I already said I got love and appreciation for all y'all. This was really good. I'm glad I'm in the space and everything. But you can find me on YouTube and Instagram, Twitter, and all that stuff at Jedi Mike 7. Brought to you by Soul Media, and I have some video essays coming up. Me and Phil might be doing something, whatever. And got interviews.
Cuddle. Fucking.
No.
But yeah, well, I got interviews and stuff coming up soon, later this month and everything. So yeah, everywhere at Jedi Mike 7.
Perfect.
Right,
Perfect. And Lance, what are you doing?
Look, Lancelot.
Hey, there's only one room for
Hours,
Lancelot.
let's go.
Hey,
Look.
the tag
You
is
better
accurate.
make it fast. We gotta
Look.
go.
Look, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say it quick.
All right.
Put it full screen.
Okay. Go.
You all, and by you all, I mean Jake, because Phil scares me.
Okay.
You gonna put some respect on David Cornswet after y'all gave me all that shit about not liking Ironheart. Now I'm black.
I didn't give you shit about Ironheart.
Holy shit!
I didn't give you shit about Ironheart.
Neither did I.
No, dude. Yeah, that show. As someone who I grew up in a Black household. I identify as Black, although I acknowledge that I'm multi-ethnic. I'm like a quarter Filipino. Anyway, I did feel like I guess like this is another rich conversation to have. Like I don't want to take up too much y'all's time, but yeah, characterization of Black folks in media is definitely something I love bringing up. It's just never like. It's almost never like, a space to have that with other folks. So if there's ever an opportunity, I'd love to, be on a panel with y'all and chop it up.
Let's
So.
go.
Yeah.
Of course.
I like
Yes.
that. But no, I respect everybody's viewpoints except Jake because, well, he is racist.
Yeah,
So,
so-
yeah, there's that.
I just want to know why I scare you. What the fuck did I do?
I'm just put.
You yell
I'm
a
just
lot.
put. I'm,
Yeah, he's
yeah,
not
you do-
playing. He's scared.
You yell a lot.
You do yell a lot, but
You do yell a lot.
it's worth it. It's worth it. Like when you were clapping on your live stream, like you were clapping at me, I dropped the phone. I got scared. When you were doing the what is it? The box office breakdown. What is it called? What you
Box
call
office
it?
banter.
Yeah. Do it right now. Do it right now. Do it right now.
Okay?
No,
Fine.
I gotta go. We gotta go to sleep, bro.
We-
I got church.
Yeah, wrap
I
it
got
up.
church tomorrow. I think
I
you got
mean-
church tomorrow too.
I just came from church. Thank you.
Well, you gonna have church tomorrow morning too.
You need some more.
I just made some money. I'm sending it to Chainsaw. Okay. Good night.
All right, we're wrapping it up. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. It's been fun talking Superman. We will see you guys next Wednesday. And I don't know, we may talk spoilers next Wednesday. Who knows? But anyways, see you guys later.
Woo,
Bye.
bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.